Hey guys, hopefully you guys can hear me because my mic wasn't plugged in. Hey, hooligan Jennifer! I know I'm so excited too. I didn't realize how hype people would be over OJ Simpson, but I've watched all the documentaries, but I never like deep dive myself into the evidence, and man, is this case super interesting. Let me show you guys what I got. Check this out. Ready? Look, don't make fun of me and don't judge me, okay? Because I'm a crazy lizard lady, but so proud of it. And my lizard's gonna kill me because she's sleeping. But many a times I've had to put my lizard in my shirt. But look how cute this is. It's like a little pouch that I can carry her in. Well, I have 9 of them, so I can carry them all in. But how cute is this? Hey, Britt. Oh, let me share the StreamYard link. I shared it. It's okay. Take your time. And if anyone else wants to come up and talk, there's a StreamYard link. You're all welcome to. But how cute is this? I love it. I've always had to put my lizard in my shirt when I go out, but now I have like a little carrying case and a buttons. She's sleeping right now, so she's probably like, leave me alone. But I just thought it was so cute. I had to share. Say hi, Rosie. Here, let me disturb her. Dun, dun. Say hi, mamas. She's like, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. All right. Oh, there she is. Hold on. Hey, hey.
Hey girl, hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Oh, I need your chair. That is so cute.
Yeah.
I
So
never seen the white and pink ones, not the bubblegum color.
I hate well, wait, hold on. I'm obsessed with pink. Let me show you.
You're so
So I
pretty.
got a pink mic.
Me too, Kate. And you
Yeah,
like the
isn't that
bubblegum
cute?
color like me.
Yes, I like light pink. I don't like hot pink.
Me
Hey, Crystal.
too. It's
Hey,
so pretty.
Biddy.
Where'd you get your mic? Oh my god, I need to see that
So this
again.
is a Razer Siren Mini, and then I
Look
bought
at
this little
that, y'all.
mic holder, and it's pink and white, and it matches my
Your
chair. And
chair
then
perfectly.
I have a pink keyboard.
Don't even. You're making me so jelly right now. Is your computer pink too?
No, my computer's not pink,
Oh
unfortunately.
my
If I could
god.
have it pink, so even like, you know how you get the little things you plug into your, oh my eyes at you, computer, and to extend the USBs, that's
Yes.
pink. That's
Oh
pink
my
and
god.
white. And I have an extra pink mouse that I don't use because I like my
Look.
gaming.
Oh, I love it.
I
When
have
I
pink
was
extra.
looking for my laptop, I was so dead set on pink. And I was like, I'm getting pink. And it took me 2, 3 weeks to finally get one. And ultimately, I didn't get the pink one because it didn't have the features I needed. But I came
Yeah.
so damn close.
Yeah,
I was like,
I have a gaming computer, so they don't really I haven't seen one in pink yet, so
yeah, I was going to ask. I was like, I thought if I heard you say you're a gamer.
kind of. I mean, I'm not like a Call of Duty gamer because I suck at games where I have to shoot people. Well, at least with like controller I am. On keyboard and mouse I'm a little better, but on like controller I just like spin around and look up at the sky and look at the ground, and I can't figure out the buttons. It's like I was used to like when we had Nintendo and it has like 3 buttons. But with keyboard and mouse I'm pretty cool. Like I'm pretty good at that. I play Phasmophobia, which is like a ghost hunting game, and some other games, but they're a little bit easier. They don't have a lot of controls. Oh, and I love Lego Lego games, like Lego Star Wars and like
Yeah, it's cute.
yeah, I play them.
Um,
I know I'm a dork, but I love them.
no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm old school though. The Nintendo, like, just give me
Yeah,
uh
give me like a Sega paddle with like A,
yes,
B. and up, down. That's what I'm good at using, those ones. Like, I'm not good. Like, all the joysticks and the trigger buttons is just too much for me.
Girl, I was going because I remember the N64 when I was like in middle school. That was
Oh,
well,
yeah. Well, that's when they first introduced, like, the joysticks.
yes, maybe it wasn't middle school. It was more elementary. But anyway, I just remember how non-destructive that device was. So I had this bright idea, like, well, let's buy that for the boys. And I was thinking I could probably get one for like $50. They're like $400.
No way.
Oh
You know,
my
that's
god.
funny because we found an old Atari on a job that we did, and I was like, man, they probably go for like a lot of money. Like an Atari, they go for like $50 on eBay. I was like, damn, I thought I like struck gold, and I didn't. Who did I say hi to? Oh, hi, Jeep Girl. Hi, Thumb Thugs, Sarah, and B. Make sure I get everyone. Oh my God. So, hey, Annalise. Hey, Gladys. If you want to come up, Gladys.
We should be getting some people soon because I shared it too.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people coming in.
Yay! Y'all make sure you subscribe.
Hi, Captain Kangaroo. Yeah, so the OJ case, I'm like shocked. I didn't know so much stuff. Like, I thought I knew the case like really well until I went over it today, and I was like, holy crap, there's so much stuff I didn't know.
Oh, I
But
know. It's horrendous. Oh
it
my
is
god.
horrendous, and I cannot believe that he's in it. Like, he was found not guilty, because I mean, this is probably hold on, I gotta figure out how to change these things, because oh, that's a little better. Okay. I was like, I'm like halfway cut off and it feels weird. Yeah, I've watched all the documentaries, but I never realized like all the evidence that they didn't really talk about in the documentaries, and I was really shocked. I watched that OJ 25 not long ago. Each week was an episode till we saw his daughter at the gate. She was talking to our oldest. I watched the Peopleverse OJ, the one where they had like Selma Blair as like Kris Jenner, and what's the chick? What the heck is that chick's name from Nashville? The show Nashville, and she played Faye Resnick. I watched that, and then I watched a couple documentaries, but like the actual evidence, I didn't go over it. All right, give me a second. I'll pull up like a little timeline. I'm gonna use that timeline you sent me, some thug.
Hey, I'll be right back. My kids, they decided to be bad as soon as I go live. So I'm so sorry. 2 seconds.
Take your time. It's fine. Oh, okay. I saw. 1 second. Let me pull up this timeline. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I sent it to myself. Duh. I'm more unorganized than I thought I was today. All right, we'll put this over here. Please tell me. Oh, wait. Shit. Hold on, guys. I'm getting used to so I just got a new monitor, so now I have 3. And I'm just getting used to moving back and forth from all 3. Sorry, I need tissue. Okay. Here we go. Oh, more people. Hey, Jameson. Hey, Rena S. OJ got scared because he thought his daughter was outside the gate with all these crazy fans. He realized real quick it wasn't his daughter. Oh, wow. Yeah, did you, you know what's crazy to me? Did you ever see that, like where they compared his, hold on, where's my book? All right, I got my notes. They compared his daughter to, that's really bright, Khloe Kardashian, and man, they look like really, hey Nina Bina, like really creepy look-alike. I was surprised how much they looked alike. Hold on, I'm gonna have to show you guys before. Give me a second. You gotta see this. Dun, dun, dun. So, like, there was always rumors that Kris Jenner and OJ, like, had an affair. And that Khloe kind of, like, looks a little bit different than the rest of the clan. Sydney. And man, did his daughter and Khloe kind of look alike. Okay. This isn't really flattering pictures of them, but. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Oh, so she got. Hey, Pecan Pie. So she got confused. Your oldest was his daughter. All right. Share audio. Look how much they look alike. Like, I could totally see it. You know, I'm being like a total pop culture crazy person, but they look alike. This is a terrible photo, but yeah, like very striking. Let me see if I can zoom in. Look at that. They look really similar. All right. Let me go over this timeline. This is or like a little summary. This has a lot of pictures on it and stuff, so it's yeah, well no, of course they're going to be like look somewhat different because not from the same exact parents, but there's a pretty close resemblance, I think, between the two. Like some features, like I mean, compared to what the other Kardashians look like, you know, she looks more like she could be her sister than the other one. Okay. I have a widescreen now, so it kind of like looks weird. Let me see. Like, look how wide my screen share is because it's widescreen now. It's weird. I didn't know I'd do that. Okay. So OJ Simpson is a retired American football player, broadcaster, actor, and convicted felon. Simpson won the Heisman Award as America's top collegiate football player and was later the first professional football player to rush for more than 2,000 yards in a season, which, you want me to zoom more, or is that okay? I know, I like being able to read the screen too. There we go. And 2,000 yards in a season is really good. I'm a big football fan, so. I play the guys in fantasy football every year, and I actually do pretty good. I almost won it all the one year, and I usually come in like second or third, so not too shabby. He is more notoriously known as the prime suspect in the murder of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ronald Goldman. OJ met Nicole Brown when she was waitressing at a nightclub in Beverly Hills. Simpson was already married, but soon began a relationship with the 18-year-old Brown. Following a divorce from his first wife, Simpson married Nicole Brown in 1985. Yeah, she was 18 and he was like 30 something. Yeah, she was really beautiful. Mel must have fell asleep. Mel's a grandma. No, okay. I'm gonna have to. She probably did fall asleep. She always falls asleep early. Where was I? OJ met Nicole Brown when she was waitressing. Or wait, no, I got that already. The couple had 2 children, a daughter, Sydney, and a son, Justin. By all accounts, the couple's relationship was violent, and on one occasion, on one occasion, Simpson, I'm fumbling all my words today. Simpson pled no contest to spousal abuse. Nicole Brown filed for divorce from Simpson in 1992, citing irreconcilable differences. She moved from their home on the corners of Rockingham and Ashford in Brentwood, California, to a condo on Bundy Drive, which was only 10 minutes away. Although the couple's history of arguing and fighting was presented in court, Nicole Brown's statements that OJ was stalking her the 4 days prior to the night of the murder were never revealed to the jury. Yeah, she said she was dating this guy and they slept together on the couch in her living room, and she was saying that he was watching from outside. Let me try and turn the brightness down on this a little bit because it's burning my eyes. No, it's doing the wrong one. Darn it. Okay. I don't know how to change it on this. Okay, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. It's making my face look white. Where was I? Yeah,
Hey, I'm here. I'm so sorry.
Okay. That's all right. I'm just reading through like a summary and a little timeline and showing it. All right, so Nicole Brown's statements that OJ was stalking her the 4 days prior to the night of the murder were never revealed to the jury. So here's a timeline. On June 12th, 1994, at 6:30, after watching her daughter's dance recital, Nicole Brown Simpson, her children, and several others go to dinner at the Mezzaluna restaurant. That's where Ronald Goldman worked. Now, does anyone know this? Because I'm kind of curious. Like, I wasn't sure if Ronald Goldman was like a friend of hers or if they just knew each other from the restaurant, because he was dropping off the glasses that her mother had left there. But I'm not sure if they were like
I thought they were a thing. Like they were talking.
Like, it's confusing because everyone said that they were friends, and then I heard that they were a thing as well. But I'm not. But then, like, at the same time, I know he worked there and he just brought the glasses back that her mother left there.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations from what I've seen. It depends on what article you read. One article will say that they had just started dating previously. Another article will say that they were just friends and he was overly jealous or whatever, like OJ was. So,
Okay,
if
so
somebody can find that fact, that'd be great because I haven't been able to.
They were friends
pinpoint.
with benefits. Yeah. Okay, so they were kind of seeing each other. Okay. So maybe they purposely went to that restaurant for like that reason. 9:15, one of Nicole Brown Simpson's sisters calls the Mezzaluna to say Nicole's mother had left her glasses at the restaurant. Waiter and friend Ronald Goldman, who lived waiter and friend, so that kind of verifies it, who lived less than 5 minutes from Nicole, volunteers to return the glasses. 9:30, Kaylin, a friend staying in the guest house at OJ Simpson's home. He's the guy who had like the longer hair. It was like to his shoulders. It gave me like Fabio vibes, but just not as long. He became like famous after the trial. Everyone wanted to take pictures with him and stuff. I think everyone was famous afterwards. So a friend so he stayed in the guest house for free at OJ's, and he was like his friend. So he did an interview like later down the line, and he was really surprised by the verdict, and he believed that OJ was guilty. And I think it was one of the big reporters, like Robin Roberts or one of them. Not Robin Roberts. What was that blonde lady? She was like a really big reporter for like the longest time. I can't think of her name, but she was like, she retired. She was one of the biggest reporters on like 2020 or whatever. Well, they were sitting next to each other, and he like couldn't believe that that was the verdict. Yeah, Kato became such a star. I remember he was like one of the first famous for doing nothing. Yeah, he like
Yeah, he just drove the Bronco. Was it
no,
Diane Sawyer?
that was AC who drove the Bronco, his other friend.
What?
Kato was yeah, his friend AC drove the Bronco, and Kato was the guy who lived in the guest house. Hold on, I could show a picture of
Oh
him.
my God. Well, there you go.
Yeah, believe
Mm.
me, I didn't know all like a lot of this stuff until that's Kato. Can you see him?
Yeah, I remember Cato. That's crazy. Like I thought my whole life he was the one driving the Bronco.
No, AC Rolling was it? I forget his
See,
last
this
name.
is why everybody needs Kate in their life. Kate or Jen Sharp. They know the details.
AC OJ AJ Cowlings. That was
Am
the
I
guy
the
who.
only one that thought it was Cato, you guys?
Well, Kato was a big name. So was this guy. This guy right here was the guy who the
So he
guy
did
who
the high speed chase. Because I always wondered,
yeah,
like, why would you do that? Like, you, the friend who probably had absolutely nothing to do with it, would put yourself at risk and go on a high speed chase. It's just always so odd to me.
yeah, he claims that he did it because OJ had a gun to his head and he felt like he was you know, uh
Like, a
teetering on
threat
the
to his
edge.
life.
And he
Yeah.
wanted to go home and the cops were chasing them and he didn't want OJ to. Yeah, he was a friend who grew up and went on to play football. If you want to come up, Gladys, I'll give you the link.
Yeah. Goodbye, Gladys.
Anyone wants to come up and talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you too. Um, Jen and I are doing the podcast, and we have so many crazy cases. I've got to get you in on it with us
Oh yeah,
because,
yeah. You know I'm
um,
always down for doing some cases, so I will
girl,
come
see
on
a
whenever.
gosh, and LFT gave us a whole case file.
Oh,
And these
nice.
girls remind me of you. Like they dig for details, and it made
I
me think of you.
I want to do the West Memphis 3. I have the whole case file for that, and
Yes.
I've been
Oh, I
looking
would
for
do
it.
it
Man.
with you in a
Yeah, we can do
heartbeat.
that. If there's
Yes.
just so much, like I can send you the case file and we can go over it, but there's so much in there. Like I feel like I was looking through it for like 3 hours and felt like I barely got through it. Yeah, it wasn't really a high speed chase, Fruit Loops with glitter. It was pretty slow.
That's
I
the
mean,
funny part too.
they were driving like 30 miles an hour on the highway with like a police cruiser. What do you call that when they safely like an escort?
Yes, I remember. Like I think I was 6 years old. I still remember watching that on the news.
No way, Molly. Wait, who was on Big Brother with him and Tom Green? Kato or AC Rawlings? Him and Tom Green became good friends. Remember Tom
Wasn't that
Green?
Kato? Girl,
That might
I'm
have been.
definitely
I don't watch Big Brother, so I have no idea. He was the
me
gardener
either.
type person on the property. Oh my god, remember Tom Green? My bum is on your lip.
Yes. What was that? He
This
that
is the
show was it
Tom
the Tom
Green
Green
show.
show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, pecan pie. I know. It's a really controversial case, I think, the West Memphis 3, because it's it has kids involved. You know, like I'm really kind of like in the middle on that case. Like I
That
can't say
one
who I think it was really. Like
that one might be you might need more than one live stream for that one.
yeah, there's a lot to that one. Um and they have a couple uh West Memphis 3 documentaries and I watched the one. Hey Sarah. My friend Sarah's here. Sarah Ortiz. She's my best friend since elementary school. um so the West Memphis 3 I watched. What's that one? What's the one like the biggest documentary that they have? Well, whatever that one was, I was horrified because I had no idea they just straight up like show you the bodies of the 3 boys, and I was like, I can't, like, I had to like fast forward it.
Oh, there's no way. Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah, I was horrified. Like they showed them like when they found them in the woods. I couldn't believe it's the one on HBO. Yeah, I think they're biased too, Pecan Pie.
Oh,
They
that's so
really
sweet,
put
Sarah. Did you see what she said
that.
to you?
Oh, thank you. I love you too. Yeah, she's been my BFF since grade school.
See, that's rare.
Yeah, since kindergarten.
I had a BFF from fourth grade on, and yeah, we stopped being friends after we got grown.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. We aren't, obviously we don't see each other as much and stuff, but when like when we talk, it's like we were just talking yesterday. So, uh, is it me or am I hearing robots? Might be Dave in the background gaming, but I hope you don't hear robots. Oh, she's in the Facebook chat, Sarah. She's
So
Sarah
the
N.
way that I took it with Cato is like he was kind of like a bum who slept on OJ's couch, right?
Yeah, I think he like worked on the property or something, and he lived there for free. I forget why he was staying there, but um, he he basically was living there for free, and he became super famous for like no reason. I mean, like he helped the cops put a timeline together, but that's about it. Um, Sarah's on. She's commenting from Facebook. That's why you guys can't see her. um. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so OJ goes and knocks on Kato's door around 9:30, and he asks him, or he tells him he's going to go get some food, and Kato says, "Well, can I go with you?" So then they go to McDonald's, and he says OJ ate his food in the car, and then he went in his house and he called his girlfriend. Um, and then 9:45, Kaylin and Simpson return home. At 9:50, Ron Goldman leaves the restaurant with glasses inside an envelope. Oh, there's so this is Ron Goldman. He looks like, it's like, why do they all got like Fabio vibes? Like if he had like long blonde hair, he'd give me Fabio vibes too.
It's definitely a '90s thing, I think.
Yeah, with like the earring and the slick back hair.
He actually has a lovely family. Ron Goldman does.
Yeah, I watched a couple interviews of his dad, and I felt so bad because his dad was distraught. I mean, the poor guy, like all the interviews he did, he was like, he was so upset. They interviewed him, and he was talking about how the police, or well, how the defense attorneys were blaming it on the police and like taking away from his son being murdered, and he was really really upset.
Yeah,
I think I
that had
was,
to be hard. Oh my God, I could only imagine.
yeah, because he felt like their murders were being overlooked because the defense really really made the police force look really bad, like
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, it's
They
really
like,
shrouded in controversy too, because like it's been made a public spectacle, and now it turned into a tabloid type thing for so
yeah,
long.
that's why I feel. Oh, Gladys is here. Sorry, Gladys. I usually get like a little
The
hey,
party's
Gladys.
starting now.
I
Boozy
usually get like
Betty.
a little ding when people pop on, and I didn't get the
And
ding for some reason.
I think there were I
I
think there
don't
were
get it either
problems.
sometimes.
I think there
Hi,
were
my beautiful
problems.
BFF.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
I'm
hi.
here.
Hi,
Yay.
Kate.
I'm excited to be on with
See you.
you. This is such an
I'm
exciting time.
so glad you're up here because I feel like you probably know more of the deets than I do about this case, Gladys. Did you
Well,
get into it
well,
back in the day?
in fact, we went away for a long weekend, and I was listening on the radio. It was a Friday night when they were doing the chase and trying to capture him, and the whole thing that was going on, and the helicopters around, and it was interesting to
Oh my
that
God.
whole dynamics of what happened. So and
Yeah,
the
I
arrest.
remember
So
as a
I was
kid.
watching it in real time.
I was a
Yeah,
kid when it
yeah.
happened,
Well,
and I remember my parents watching
right.
it and then being like so into it. And I had no idea what was going on. I just thought it was cool because they were watching
Well,
it. But I was like too young to understand the whole like concept of it. Really.
well, there was a abuse before this. They have
Yeah.
recordings of her calling the police, and there was abuse, and she had taken pictures, and she
Oh.
put them
Oh yeah.
in a safe and said, if anything happens to me, there are pictures of her and the
A safe
abuse that she
deposit
took from
box,
him,
right?
and recordings, yeah, and put them in a safe
I have the
deposit box.
photos. I have the
Yeah,
photos. Let me send them to myself so I can show you guys. But
yeah, it was pretty horrific, and she'd left him before. And one of the problems was her father. He was, I don't think he was owner, but he was a big person in Hertz rental cars. And remember, he used to
okay.
run across the airport. Well, I don't know if you remember those commercials, but his
No.
father-in-law owned some company. Owned some Hertz rental. He worked for Hertz because OJ got him the job. So one of the biggest issues that they had is every time she would leave him, he would they would beg her to go back, that it could be better, and
Because he would
maybe
like
this wasn't a good
threaten
idea.
that he would
Yep,
lose his
yep,
job and stuff like that. Oh
yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he would do things like that. So she would always go back to him because she was basically helping her family. So that was a big issue with that piece of what happened with them. And but they knew that there was abuse going on, and they and at some point they tried to protect her and get her away, but she always seemed to go back to him. And I think
I
that's
heard the
typical.
911 calls where she
Right.
called and you can hear like them fighting in the background. Um
Hmm.
and then also they said 4 days before she was murdered, somebody went into a domestic violence shelter and gave the name Nicole and said that whoever this Nicole was said she believed that her husband was going to kill her, or ex-husband or whatever. And I don't know if they had someone from the shelter verify that it was her or not, but yay, Mel's here. We
Hmm.
thought you fell asleep, Mel. Uh
Um, she there were times when the police tried to protect her and she wouldn't press charges. They were saying,
yeah.
we can get you out of this, and she refused to press charges. There was a documentary, I think it was called ESPN did it, called A Run for His Life, I believe, that's, or The People versus OJ. I can't
I
remember,
watched
I'll
The
look it
People
up.
versus OJ. That was
But
good. The People versus OJ.
that was that the movie, or this was a documentary. And in
Yeah,
fact,
People versus OJ was like the movie with Selma Blair
right,
and
right. Yeah, but there was a documentary on ESPN. It's really good. It's 5 parts, and it breaks it down. And actually, the DA takes it and breaks it down on how they think what he did in the murders of those people and how it happened. But now they're
Marsha.
saying
You
they
broke
think
it
that,
down?
no, not Marsha Clark. It was the main DA. There was a person who was going to do the trial, and I'll look up the name. I didn't look it up because I was making dinner. That's another story. But anyway, he was supposed to do the trial, but he had a heart attack, and so that's when Marsha Clark stepped in. She wasn't supposed to be the one that was going to do the trial. There was someone else who was going to do it, but he had a heart attack, and I'll
Yeah.
look it up,
I,
but
I think a lot of the problem that another problem was like Marsha was kind of unlikable. You know what I mean? She like I think she did a good job, but she came off very like
I think she did a horrible job. I
well,
don't
I
think she
mean,
did a good job
I
at
didn't
all.
watch the whole trial, but from like the certain clips that I seen, she wasn't doing like she didn't sound
Hmm.
like she was doing terrible, but I haven't watched it in its entirety yet, but I plan to because now I'm like totally into it. But
Right. Well, Gil Garcetti said he didn't want Marsha Clark to do he wasn't the first choice. He thought her performances were less than adequate
yeah.
to be the lead on the defense. And
And she just didn't come off like likable. Like she was kind of like very hardened exterior, like masculine,
Mhm.
like
yeah,
I
and
don't know. She just
it's
gave off those
in
vibes.
20 yeah, in 2016, Gil Garcetti, in fact, he right after there was a lot of circumstances, and that's what I loved about this documentary. There was a lot of circumstances as to why OJ Simpson was found innocent, but I don't want. I want to go back to the beginning. So, where you are, I don't, and we can go from there.
Yeah, we can
On
when we get to that part.
okay.
I should have told
Yeah,
you
when we
guys
get
like trigger warning because I didn't even realize I just had this picture of like blood everywhere all over. So hopefully y'all didn't really notice it.
there's actually very detailed pictures and screenshots, and in this documentary that I saw, there's of how the placement and there's actually pictures of the bodies. So that was
Oh
that was,
yeah,
it was
so I
it
have
was
this website that has all the maps and stuff
right.
too, so we can like really get into it. Hold on one second before I
Sounds good.
continue on. I have the pictures of Nicole, but I am blind and can't see my cursor. There it is. Okay.
She almost decapitated her. That's how
Yeah.
deep that knife
Oh
Yep.
my
went
God,
into her.
yeah, it was ruthless. Ugh.
Yeah, and it was horrific. And the blows, the decapitation, they thought that it was post-mortem. She was already
Oh
dead when he did that.
Oh no! Really?
that's
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
it
Definitely.
was a very
personal.
personal kill. Yeah.
All right. Trigger warning, guys. Before I
Trigger
share
warning,
this.
trigger warning, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're pretty. Oh my gosh! What is going on? Hold on.
Oh,
I have a new monitor and I'm a mess. Okay. You guys can see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. Zoom. Darn it. I don't know. There we go. You can tell these are pictures from like the 90s. Like, so not clear. But
yeah.
look at all the swelling and bruises around her face.
Oh my goodness. She
You know,
was a
this is
beautiful lady.
She was beautiful. And that's what a nose should look like.
When it's broke, when
In,
it's been hit.
yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Or,
good
you know what I mean?
point.
Like, this is what it should have looked like, not Amber Heard's. But
Yes, like think about how pointy, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but how pointy her nose is.
yeah, hers is
like
very
normally.
symmetrical and
Yes,
sharp.
yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
that was a great point, Kate, because Amber Heard's is not it. Okay, that wasn't
Yeah.
even her nose wasn't even stumped, much less broken.
Yep. And on top of that, Umbrella guy released a really interesting audio today. If you guys didn't listen to it and you're following the Johnny Depp case,
Oh,
check
Jim Lou.
that
Hi.
out.
Sorry. I'm
Hey,
so happy
Jen
to see
Lou.
Jim Lou
I love
here.
her picture with the monkey.
You're
I
rude,
love
child.
I like Jen Lou.
everything.
She's great.
Yes, thank you for being here, Jim Lou. I'm so glad you're over here on Kate's channel.
Okay, so let me go back to this screen here. Give me 1 second.
So they were just okay, because I'm trying. Listen, have mercy on me. I should have told you this from the beginning. There's just been a lot going on, and I didn't realize today was Sunday until Sarah and Amy reminded me. So
That's
I
okay.
cramped. Were
That's
they
all right.
just
I'm gonna
getting
go over
going?
everything so we can fill you in because you cramped.
Yeah.
So I got you all. If you need to
Well,
brush up
good.
on it, we're gonna go over it. So where we left off was Kato and OJ went to McDonald's. Then Kaylin and OJ came home. Then Ronald Goldman left the restaurant with the glasses inside an envelope to go give them to Nicole.
Okay.
I feel like this was such a good case to pick. Everyone's like so excited, like, oh, this is the first case I got into. I wish I got into a little more than I was shocked how much stuff I didn't know when I watched all the documentary. I feel like ashamed of myself because I'm very detail oriented and I didn't know a lot of this stuff. I was shocked when I went over this. Okay, sorry. 10:15. While watching television, Pablo I'm going to totally mess this up. Fengives, a neighbor of Nicole Brown Simpson, hears the cries and constant barking of a dog. Oh, trigger warning, guys. Sorry, it's a little late, but
it's called Fenyevis. That's the way to pronounce his name, I believe.
Okay.
Fenyevis.
Still
That's
butcher
okay.
it.
That's okay.
10:25, limousine driver Alan Park arrives at the Simpsons' home 30 minutes early to drive Simpson to the airport for an overnight flight to Chicago. Oh, let me just add in that there was another woman named Jill Shively, I think that's how you say it. She had seen the Bronco speeding and run through a traffic light. I'm not sure the exact time, but it was around the time of the murders, and it was only a few blocks away from Nicole's house. And she testified in front of a grand jury, but after testifying in front of a grand jury, she sold her story for $5,000 to like a news thing, and she said she's regretted it her whole life. And Marcia Clark was so mad at her that she wouldn't put her on the case. She said, "You blew my case." Basically told the lady she blew her case because that like literally put OJ like right near the crime scene in his car. And Marcia was so upset that she sold the story because then it made her look not credible because she sold it for $5,000. But I figured I'd add that in because that was around the time. She did an interview, if you guys want to watch it at some point. Her name's Jill Shively or something. 10:25, a limousine driver, Alan Park, arrives at the Simpsons' home 30 minutes early to drive Simpson to the airport for an overnight flight to Chicago. So OJ was catching the red eye at like 11:45, I think it was. It was like a later flight. And the limo driver was picking him up. And yeah, the Park buzzes Simpson's intercom several times, but he gets no response. And then he sees so 5 minutes later, he sees a black man around 6 feet tall, just over 200 pounds, walking toward the front door of the home. Then, so he walks back to the door after he sees. So he walked away from what I understand, he walked away from the door when nobody answered, and I guess was trying to figure out where he was. And then he saw a, tall, big black man walking towards the front door of the home. So he went back. Oh,
she dropped off.
There you
she's
go.
Back.
Yeah, I heard a little beep.
I'm not Brittney unless I fall off panel. Just
Okay.
Sorry.
I do it all the time. Accidentally, like, I didn't know that my side button on my mouse knocked me out, and then one time I hit the side button, and I've at least blocked myself out 2 or 3 times from my own stream already. It's actually really easy to do because it's near other buttons. 11 p.m. So then he goes and he rings the intercom again after he sees somebody walk into the house. And then OJ answers the intercom and says that he'd been in the shower and he'll be right down. Yeah, May, I was totally... after reading everything I read, I am totally shocked. But at the same time, I can understand a little bit because this was like right after the Rodney King riots happened, right? And people were very not trusting of the LAPD at the time.
Yeah, man, all hell was breaking loose at that time in the early 90s.
And that's where the defense went with it, where they made the police force look corrupt and racist. And we'll get to that. The Furman tapes, when I get to that point, I'll explain it to you. But
well, you also got to realize that right about that time, Rodney King's trial was going on, and that was a mess.
And it created a lot of like distrust between, civilians from LA and LAPD. And
there was also a drugstore woman. She was an Asian woman who owned a store, and you can see this on this tape where this black girl, they're fighting, and this the black girl walks away from this woman and she gets a gun and shoots her in the head. And the woman is clearly walking away. And that woman was also
Oh my
free. So
God.
there was a lot going on during that time where the African American community were not happy with the judicial system.
Yeah.
So this was So this was a lot of things that were going on with this case that were
And as they should have been. I mean, like it was horrific with
yes.
some of the police officers, how they acted and stuff. So
Well, yeah, they were clubbed, and there's videos of that, and those policemen were all free.
Yep.
I don't know if they continued to be for policemen. They were found innocent, so they. I don't know if they lost their jobs. I don't know what happened to those policemen because I never took that any further. And if I did, I don't remember it. So sorry.
okay.
Yes, LFT,
Ew.
this is Kate. She reminds me a lot of you and Tia in a lot of ways as far as her research goes. So if you can, you and Tia should really subscribe to her because you want to talk about detailed oriented. She puts me to shame, girl. Let me just say, you'll like her a lot.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Kate does
I
deep
sent my
dives.
note-
She's good with research.
I sent myself down lots of rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these
Okay,
are
LFT is in your chat. Her and Tia are the one that I was telling you gave us a case file. I
okay.
just saved
LFT
them
Decipher.
the Johnny Gosh case.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And
Yeah, I haven't really
they,
looked into it big, but I've heard about that. I'll have to check that
girl,
out.
they found in a day and a half what took me like a week to discover. Like these women are amazing.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there was
awesome. Well, I will check you guys out. Is that what your channel is? LFT
It's a
Decipher?
Decipher podcast.
Okay, well, I will tune in for it for sure. So these are like, I guess like drawings or like digital photos of the scene, and here's an actual photo of I'm a good digger, all right. So Nicole was on the steps by the front gate, and Ron Goldman was kind of like off to the side over here. Nicole was like, yeah,
he
like
was
Gladys
trapped.
said. Yeah, she was trapped, and she was like nearly decapitated, literally. Like it was
Right. And he was
horrible.
trapped
And
and cornered. He couldn't
yep,
he couldn't escape that area where he was being stabbed.
and he had like
Irvin,
37 stab wounds or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
oh my God. Irvin's got a
And
good
again,
question. He said, if the crime scene was secured and handled correctly, do you think the outcome would have been different and why?
Um, I don't know.
well,
I think. Go ahead. You can answer first, Gladys.
no. Go ahead. I was going to say I don't know if it would because the LAPD were handling crime scenes so negligently that it wasn't. I don't know if that it would have had a different outcome.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Well, especially because of the distrust with the LAPD, and they really exposed them bad. The defense. So, like the Mark Furman tapes, they had him like on tape, like calling. They had lots of witnesses of him referring to black men as the N word. And
Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Mark Furman was
They-
not. Yeah. He was.
Wow.
Yeah.
he was like a straight up racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There she
that's
is.
what.
Hey, Tia. Sorry.
That's okay. Hi, Tia.
You know how I am. I get
Yeah,
excited when I
Tia
There
see
was a-
Dash.
people.
Okay, so she's part of the Decipher podcast too. Okay,
Yeah, she's the other half.
well, I will check them out definitely.
Yeah, I was just telling LFT, like, I'm in withdrawal of you guys. I haven't talked to you today. I've gotten used to talking to you every day.
Yeah. So I agree. I don't think there was. And also the jury was. They thought Marcia Clark would be. She was. They got a negative on her. They didn't like her. The jury just thought she was a bitch. But at the end of the trial, one of the jurors stood up and did his hand in the black, the black we stand together, whatever that symbol is. I can't remember it now, but he stood up
like
and they
where
went, oh, yeah. It was like, oh my God, what did we just do? So they knew that that jury, even though it wasn't tainted, they knew that that jury, that emotion were high about not liking the court system in California, in LA. So I think it would have been a lose-lose no matter what. I don't think
Yep.
they would have. Yeah, Jen Lou's right. I agree with it, that wouldn't have. Yeah, the jury wouldn't have let that. I don't care if they would have brought on all kinds of evidence that they would have. OJ would have been found guilty.
Sorry, guys. I'm like moving all kinds of stuff around. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it would have changed stuff. I mean, they made a pretty good case when it came to like the police department being I mean, they did
corrupt.
have corrupt.
Police
They did have
department
great
being,
evidence. Oh, sorry, guys. They did have like I mean, this is probably one of the cases that I've seen with so much like damning evidence. Like this is
Yeah.
like
Right.
probably the most
Yep.
evidence that tied someone to a crime that I've ever seen in my history of like
Watching true
covering cases.
crimes. And the DNA evidence was so minute. And this was the first time in a trial that DNA was actually put up step by step. I mean, it had been studied, but DNA, this is the first trial that DNA was actually broken down as to the DNA and what matched and what didn't.
Yep.
So, and I actually, that science makes my eyes roll back in my head, but it was fascinating to listen to it. It became boring, and but it was in the beginning it was really interesting, and I would catch the synopsis. I couldn't watch that during the trial of
Get this,
because it was
guys.
boring.
There was a sock in OJ's room that had Nicole Brown's blood on it. There was a blood trail like from her house to his house on Rockingham, and Ron Goldman's blood was in OJ's Bronco. Like, I mean, it can't be any more like damning than that.
Well,
like Ron Goldman's blood
here's
was in his Bronco. They tried to make it like it was
here's the
planted
problem.
there, right?
Yeah, they said it was planted because they said, where did you take? They asked one of the detectives, where did you take that bag, that evidence bag, back to be properly stored? And he didn't. He took it home. So they're like, here we go. And there was just too many. There was
So
too many
instead of
screw ups.
putting it right in evidence, he took it home with him.
He took it home and took it overnight. Left it overnight in his car.
How
And
stupid.
there was just, and then there was one of the investigators was not wearing gloves during the when they were getting the evidence. He was, and they were taking this apart step by step of all the errors that the LAPD were doing, from the forensics to the coroner, everything that they could pick apart, they were doing. He did truly have, I mean, it cost him a lot of money, and I think he still owes Shapiro like $250,000. But he had a team.
Shapiro.
Yeah. I mean, they were
You know
bringing in
what
lawyers
I
from all over
didn't
the
know
place.
either, which shocked me? Robert Kardashian and Shapiro hated
They
each
hated
other.
each other.
So
And
Shapiro told OJ, you could take this plea deal and you can say that you did it and Robert Kardashian was an accessory to murder. Like what?
yeah.
He tried to get
There's
OJ
also,
to take a plea deal and say Robert Kardashian was an accessory and helped him.
the police also let Kardashian take a packed gym bag, or a bag. You can see him on tape taking a bag out of OJ Simpson's house, and they're saying that maybe the gun or the knife was in there. Not gun, the knife was in there that Robert Kardashian took, because they never investigated that bag.
Yeah, and Robert Kardashian did an interview with Katie Couric, I think it was, and he told Katie Couric that the blood in Goldman's blood in OJ's Bronco really had him fucked up, and that he thinks it's possible that he's guilty. and that like haunts him. He didn't say like he
Right.
said like it's a possibility that I think he could be.
Well, and F. Lee Bailey and what's his name were lawyers, were friends too. After this trial, they no longer spoke to each other. And because F. Lee Bailey was bringing in things that Shapiro was not bringing in, because Robert Shapiro was not a trial lawyer. He always pleaded out. You know, he always won the case or lost the case by pleading out. He wasn't a trial lawyer, and that's why they brought all these lawyers on board. He didn't want that. He didn't want that at all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he wanted to be the lead, and he'd won his cases out of court. Never had to do a trial.
Yeah. And then and they when they searched OJ's house, they found like makeup adhesive and a fake mustache and goatee. Was it a fake passport or OJ's passport? I think he had a hey Lex. I think he had a fake passport. Hold on, I wrote it down. Makeup adhesive, a mustache with a goatee, a passport, and a gun. Like this dude was literally gonna glue a mustache to his face and try and like pass himself off as somebody else. Like, can you imagine like one of the most famous men in the world trying to like conceal himself with a fake mustache?
He was an interesting. He'd had OJ Simpson had this life. The documentary I watched was Made in America, and it's on ESPN, and I think Hulu has it
I've
now.
seen that too.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, OJ Simpson had this golden life. He was always in trouble when he lived in the projects, but never got in trouble. He always was able to stand away from it. And his friends explained that. And so he was always the golden boy. And then when he went to college and became who he was, but I think there was also, but she never admitted to it. I think there was abuse in the first marriage too. So yeah,
but OJ's first wife.
OJ's first wife, there was abuse.
His girlfriend after the OJ, after the verdict, I forget. I wrote her name down too. Hold on, Christy Brody. She said that he was abusive towards her, and
yeah.
Molly Lollipops. I know Kardashian died of cancer, so I think there is something like that, like a curse, like they call it, like a curse, like all the bad stuff happened to the people.
All the lawyers except, well, F. Lee Bailey's still alive and Shapiro's still alive, but Shapiro's son died of a drug overdose at 26, and Robert Kardashian died of esophageal cancer, and it was like he got married. They discovered the cancer and he was dead within like 6 months, less than that.
Yeah.
And then the other lawyer, he died of a brain tumor. So so there is a curse. I truly believe that they're going, okay, this is what you get, suckers. So that's just me saying karma.
He was hiding in Nicole's bushes watching her when she had a guy she was sleeping with him on the couch, and he was like outside the window watching them in the bushes.
Oh yeah, the next day there's a recording of him hollering and screaming at her, and she's calling the police. And there's a conversation, and she goes, "He's going to kill me. Get him out of here." And he was just with my kids here. Oh, it was ugly. That confrontation was horrible. I don't know how she stuck around in California. I would be frightened of somebody that menacing. And he was very. It was awful. So
yeah.
The one thing that surprised me though about him is he always managed to keep that Rockingham house. He never lost it. In his first marriage, she left that house, even though it was him that created the problem.
Yeah.
And when the divorce happened, he got the house again. It was his property. And that's the way I think he thought of women. They were his property.
Oh yeah, I think so too, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
where are we now?
All right. Yeah. So Nicole's dog is barking and freaking out. And so this guy finds him, and the dog has blood all over his legs. So they bring the dog back to his house to see if the dog's injured, and they find out that the dog's not injured. And they tried to get the dog to take him to like his house, but he was being like really hesitant to go anywhere. So this guy ended up giving the dog to his neighbor to keep him overnight. I think we lost Brittney.
Yeah, I think so.
Come back, Brittney. But anyway, so the neighbor, I think his name was Steve, had the dog, and then he was like, I'm gonna go see if I can find out where he lives. So the dog basically took them to the house, and he found them there. And then he called the police. So Nicole's dog leads a neighbor to the murder scene where the witness described seeing blood flowing like a river. 12:20 a.m. Police arrive at the Bundy murder scene. They soon discover the dead body of Nicole Brown Simpson and a second body they identify as being Ron Goldman. Investigators go to Simpson's residence to notify him of the murders at 4:45 a.m. 5 a.m. Detectives Mark Furman, that's the guy that they said was that they outed as a racist, and Philip Vanatter arrive at Simpson's Rockingham estate. 5:15, 5:30. Detectives and police examine what would be later proven to be bloodstains on Simpson's Bronco and bloodstains leading away from the vehicle. The detectives attempt to contact the people in the house, then after examining the blood and failed attempts to get any person on the phone inside the house, they determine that there may be an emergency situation and climb the fence and enter the property. Detectives wake Simpson's at 5:30. Detectives wake Simpson's older daughter, Arnell, who lived in a guest house. She then escorts detectives into the house. Before I move on real quick. Okay, that's fine, Britt. Just come up when you're ready. Weren't Nicole's kids in the house too when she was murdered?
They were.
And
They were sleeping. They were sleeping.
Oh
Yep.
man,
They were sleeping upstairs. Yes.
My heart. That breaks my heart that they had to do it. Yeah, they had to take him out of the back. Oh, welcome, Terry Lynn. Thank you for coming from True Crime Junkies. That was so awesome that they posted that. Make sure you thank them for me. Okay, where was I? So she escorts the detectives into the house. At 6 a.m., OJ is Okay, so OJ was in Chicago. He hopped on that red eye. OJ is contacted in Chicago by Detective Tom Lang and informed of his wife's tragic death. Detective Lang notes the strange behavior of Simpson. At hearing of his wife's death, Simpson exhibited an unusual demeanor. He reacted with what only barely be termed as mild shock. Detective Lang had investigated well over 100 murders, and more times than not, family members react with much more emotion than Simpson displayed. Along with the emotional outpouring, family members usually ask the standard questions. Who, what, when, where, and why. Simpson asked none of these questions, but told officers he would return home. During this time, Cato Kalin tells police about some loud thumping noises he heard the night before. Detective Mark Furman walks down the path behind the guest house to investigate. Furman goes nowhere else on the property, and officers do not investigate any other areas of the estate. In the area behind Cato's bungalow, adjacent to the air conditioning unit, Furman finds a bloody glove, presumed, later proven to match a glove left at the Bundy scene.
Now that glove, those gloves were, OJ kept on saying those gloves were not his. And they actually had a person from, I want to say a store from New York called Barney's. And Barney's, they actually brought this woman in to testify. I'm sorry, what? But yes, the glove. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. They actually brought her in, and she was the woman who sold Nicole Simpson those gloves. And the gloves, and there were only so many pairs of these gloves made in the United States. And she testified that they only had a few in stock, and she bought one of the, and I want to say the number was low, and she bought one of those pairs of gloves. And they kept on saying that those gloves were not his, and they were his, as were the shoes, because when he was tried,
did they match the bottom of the shoe?
They actually, when he was tried for the wrongful death, there's an audio where he said, I don't own any of those ugly ass shoes. And that's not true, because they found a picture on the field of a football game, him and Nicole and the children, and he's wearing those ugly ass shoes. So they were able to prove that those shoes were his. Manolo Blahnik shoes, yes. But that was in the wrongful death. That was in the wrongful death trial of him. Manolo. If I don't know nothing,
there was pictures of him. There was pictures
with the shoes on.
Yeah. Wow! And they didn't introduce that at the big trial.
They didn't introduce it, but there were things from that trial that they could bring to the wrongful death that the Goldmans and the Simpsons did. That trial was actually, they could bring things up that they couldn't, and they actually could. He did a cross-examination, and he at that time that he couldn't say no to do that. He could be cross-examined. So yeah, so that was, which I thought was interesting with the wrongful death. The judge allowed things that the murder trial did not.
Yeah, that was like with the Johnny Depp case. The UK one didn't allow like any of his evidence because it was against the son, not Amber. And then with his trial with Amber, a lot more stuff was allowed to be presented, which made a huge difference because
the English court system is a lot different than here in the United States. Yeah. But I heard that he's asking that if he wants to, he could get a retrial now because of what happened.
Hope so. Especially because she lied about the
op-ed, the op-ed that some people are so vehemently saying she didn't say that. Yes, she did. She said it. She said, "Yes, I wrote that." Yes,
after this, you have to listen to the Umbrella Guy's latest video. He puts an audio of her basically like admitting that she thought they had to be out in 20 days and that her and Raquel and Josh would all be kicked out. So, they panicked. So, well, let's move on. Trigger
warning. Let's move. Another trigger warning.
That's holy moly. Is that Nicole?
Yes, that's her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Ron
her.
Goldman
and the National Enquirer actually had that picture without that blacked out of her neck. At one time,
the front page?
they had quite. Yeah, I think I still have that. The National Enquirer. I think I saved it. My husband thinks I'm morbid, but it was. They actually show the picture of her. They actually show the picture of the cut in her neck. Yeah, and you can. Yeah, wow. It's pretty bad.
I have when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl framed that newspaper. Where was that? I would have saved this, but man, that's crazy that they had that without it blacked out. Wow, what a if anyone,
they were pretty. No, I was going to say at that time.
Remove this. Let me know. If it's triggering anyone, I can remove it. But I wanted to read this, so that's crazy.
No, go ahead.
So Ronald Goldman was an aspiring actor and part-time model. At the time of his murder, Goldman was working as a waiter at the Mezzaluna restaurant. Before returning the eyeglasses that night, Goldman stopped at his apartment and then walked to Nicole's house. I thought he borrowed a friend's car, but either way. Police believe Goldman arrived during or shortly after the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and attempted to protect her, but was stabbed to death. The autopsy lists several fatal wounds, including many stabs to the torso, one superficial slit to the throat, and a deep gash of the throat, which indicated Goldman struggled for his life. When his body was discovered the next morning, his eyelids were still open and his pager was still beeping. Wow.
Actually, they think that Goldman's the throat slit was actually a postmortem. That because the artery in the abdomen, the major artery in the abdomen, was severed, and so he died within minutes after that cut. So
I mean, and can
they
you
think that
imagine
all
trying
these
to
other.
like fight
Go ahead.
OJ? You know what I mean? That dude's huge. There's like no
Well, he was
chance that.
well. Now they're saying that they think that there was a second person with him.
I've heard that too. Yeah,
I've read it. Yeah, that there was that this was not done alone, but
I
he'll never
wonder like
tell.
who, what second person would be like that
I
he
wouldn't be
knew.
surprised if it was Al Cowling. I think
AC.
he was dedicated to him.
Yeah.
He was dedicated to him.
Oh my God.
And
Okay.
OJ's father. This is just something that, and it mentions it in Made in America. OJ's father was gay. He was
I didn't know
homosexual.
that.
Yeah, he was.
Oh.
So, and he kept that hidden, but they divorced. His mother raised him, and so he rarely saw his father because of his. And he became very angry. Apparently, they were in Hawaii, and Nicole had talked to another couple at a table, and they were a homosexual couple. And OJ Simpson became incensed. There was a
Wow.
huge fight, and they said ruined the whole vacation because he highly resented that kind of interaction.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Wow. Look at that. Oh my God. Poor guy's shirt. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like he was fighting because look, his shirt's like half ripped off. So it looks like
Yeah.
maybe they were like fighting. And so Nicole Brown Simpson's autopsy revealed several fatal wounds, in particular an incised wound across the neck, which penetrated all the way to the spine, transection of the carotid arteries and jugular veins, 7 stab wounds of the neck and scalp, multiple that's definitely personal for sure. Multiple
Yeah. Oh,
injuries
yeah.
to the
This was.
head, indicating defense wounds and bruising of the scalp and parietal. Is that how you say it?
Parietal.
Parietal. Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah, I said that earlier, Mel,
Parietal.
when I was showing the pictures of Nicole. I was like, wow, you can tell these photos are from the 90s because they're so like foggy looking. Oh, there's AC. So where was OJ, in the back or just like laying
He
down in
was
the car?
he was in the back seat. They said holding a picture of his family in his hands, in his arms,
I tried. So I heard
crying.
a little bit of the audio of OJ so he was in the Bronco and he was talking to the investigator and he was like, I need to like be punished for this or something like that. And like there was audio of him talking to the investigator, but then when I went to try to find, so I heard the audio in another YouTube video that somebody covered. I might be able to just go to that part and play the little clip. But I heard it in another YouTube video, but when I tried to find the audio itself of just him talking to the investigator or the murder investigator, I couldn't find it for some reason. I couldn't find it on YouTube. So here's the evidence. 9:45 p.m., Charles Cale, walking his dog by Simpson's Rockingham residence, does not see a white Ford Bronco. 10:02, phone records indicate Simpson placed a call to his girlfriend, Paula Barbieri. Is that how you say it? Barbieri?
Paula Barbieri.
Barbieri, from his white Ford Bronco. Oh, so he was in his Bronco when he called her. 10:22 to 10:30, the limo driver, Alan Park, testifies upon arriving at the Simpson estate, he did not see a white Ford Bronco. 10:50, a witness reports to have seen a white Ford Bronco at the intersection of Bundy and Dorothy. The vehicle was traveling so fast, it almost struck the witness. That was Jill Shively. I think that's how you say it. Evidence against OJ. The 911 calls and a history of Simpson's violence directed at Nicole Brown. So this one 911 call, they had the 911 operator come up to testify, which I did listen to. I got a little bit into the trial. she said that on the call, she was on the line for like 3-4 minutes, but she couldn't make out what they were saying. But hold on, I wrote it in my notes. She heard a slap. God. OJ. Okay, so she heard a slap, and where did I write it? And she heard, I don't know where I wrote it, but she couldn't, like, she could hear in the background, but she couldn't make out what they're saying, and she heard a slap. And so she called the police and had the police go out there, and Nicole ran out of Rockingham through the gates into the officer's arms in just a bra and sweatpants and yelled, "He's going to kill me." And then like I don't think, what happened was OJ just left. They just let him go. He just left before they could take him in, and nothing came of it. But she literally ran out of the house and into the arms of the police saying that he's going to kill me.
And that policeman, I think, was Mark Furman.
Really? Oh,
That,
wow.
yeah, he was the one, and he came out and said it was all, he was in the bushes and she ran out. I believe that's the way he tells the story. And they asked her if she wanted to press charges, and she said, no, just make him go away. And he said, they knew that this domestic violence was going on. And a lot of policemen were letting it go. They were just saying, oh, it's just a squabble, because he would have parties and barbecues for the LAPD. He was always entertaining these people in his home. So
that's what I
they
was
were
about to
letting a
get
lot
to.
of things. Okay.
So Ron
Sorry.
Ship, right? That was the guy, or what was his name? Something
Yeah,
Ship.
Ron Ship.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
Ron Ship was a friend of OJ's, and he knew him because his brother played football with him. And when he won the Heisman Trophy, him and his brother went to OJ's house to congratulate them. And then over time, he's seen OJ a couple times, and they became friends. But he said he got a kick out of, like, while he was on patrol, stopping at OJ's house with a couple of the LAPD officers. He said he probably did it like once or twice a week, and they would go play basketball or tennis or whatever and hang out with OJ. So, like, there was tons of LAPD officers over at that house getting autographs and meeting OJ.
That's another thing that she worried about, because he was friends with the LAPD. That's another reason she was very scared and didn't think she'd have protection.
Yep. And then Nicole called Ron Ship, right, and told him about so that night it says he came out of his, after she ran out and said OJ is going to kill me. They said they could see a handprint around her neck. And then he came out and said, I got 2 women in my bed now. I don't need that one. They went to arrest him, but he got in his Bentley and drove away and went to the Rose Bowl. And,
he said, I'll be right back. And he got in his car and just sped away. And they were like, what the fuck? They were like,
and
okay.
then she was dating some guy, Keith, and they saw OJ at a restaurant, and he pulled out a chair and faced it toward them and just sat there and stared. And then I believe he followed them back home, and while they were making love on the couch, he watched through the window.
Yeah, that guy really wanted to be involved with Nicole. He really wanted a relationship with her, but he couldn't. OJ Simpson wasn't going to let that happen. He was like, she's my woman. He was very possessive of her. And she was, I think, when they first met, she was only 18 or 19 years old when they met.
Yeah, and he was 30-something, right?
She was very young, yes.
Okay, so the 911 dispatcher was Sharon Gilbert. She said on the night of January 1st, 1989, between 3 and 4 a.m., a call came in at 3:58 a.m. She said at first she couldn't hear anything over the open line. Then she heard a woman screaming and the sound of someone being hit by a slap. And then the officers went there, and that's when she ran outside and said, he's going to kill me. And then Ron Ship, He was OJ's friend of 26 years. He was the guy who had the older brother who played with him. He was an LAPD officer until 1989. Over the years, he brought LAPD officers to OJ's home, particularly Chuck Smith, who was still a member of the LAPD at the time of the murders, and he would take many officers there while on patrol who were still part of the LAPD. He brought about 40 different men there, mostly from the LAPD West Division. A few of them got autographs. He was friends with Nicole as well, he said. And they said, "Do you and the defendant still remain friends today?" And he said, "Well, I still love the guy, but I don't know. I mean, this is a weird situation I'm sitting here in." And then Nicole called Ron the first week of January, and he went over there either January 3rd or 4th and saw some of the injuries that she had, and she told him about what happened. But I didn't get further than that. I had to stop watching it, but I know she told Ron what happened. I don't know if he did anything about it, but was he the one who knew about the safety deposit box?
One of her friends did. I think her sisters knew about it. Her sisters know, because she said if anything happens, this is where they are. She had 2 sisters, and one testified she looked exactly like Nicole, only darker,
with dark
hair.
Yeah,
right.
I see her in the like the group of people. All right, so evidence against OJ. The history of Simpson's violence directed at Nicole Brown. Hair evidence. Hairs consistent with that of Simpson found on a cap at the Bundy residence. Oh, so they found hairs that were similar to his hairs on the cap. Hairs consistent with that of Simpson found on Ron Goldman's shirt. Fiber evidence. Cotton fibers consistent with the carpet in the Bronco found on the glove at Rockingham. The glove that matched the other glove at Bundy. Fibers consistent with the carpet from the Bronco found on cap at Bundy residence. Blood evidence. The killer dropped blood near shoe prints at Bundy. Blood dropped at Bundy was the same type as Simpson's. About 0.5% of population would match. Simpson had fresh cut on his left hand the day after the murder. He said that when he found out that Nicole was murdered, he was so mad that he squeezed a glass and the glass cut him. But people know when you stab someone, it's actually really common for the blade to cut your own hand, because you're like doing this, it slips up, and most people who kill people in a stabbing method, they have cuts on their hands. Nicole had 3 sisters, Denise and 2 others. I can't remember their name.
Denise, I can't remember. And that other sister is very different looking than the other 2, the Nicole. They look a lot like the mother, and the other sister, I think, probably looks like the father's side of the family. Very
the
light.
The mother looked like Nicole too. The mother looked like
the resemblance was strong.
Yeah.
Hey,
Boston supports Lana. Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully you catch up soon on 2 times.
And I was right about I was wrong about the name of the shoes. They're Bruno Magli.
Okay.
Is the name of the shoe that he wears. So I said they were something else. So I was wrong.
So they weren't Manolos? Is that what you said they were?
They weren't Manolos. They weren't Manolos. I think Manolos are women's shoes, but maybe his dad wore them. That was wrong. Never mind. Forget I said that. Never mind. You didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
I didn't hear it. All right.
Edit that.
Simpson had a fresh cut on his left hand the day after the murder. Blood found in Bronco. Blood found in foyer and master bedroom of Simpson's home. And the blood found in the Bronco matched Ronald Goldman's blood. And the blood on his sock in the bedroom matched Nicole's blood.
Yeah, and, there was a lot of evidence.
Yeah, a lot. Like, this is probably
the thing is,
I've seen this.
I think
they
think he sprayed. The thing is that they think that that blood was sprayed. Those vials that they had were some of that they hadn't collected everything, and some of those vials were sprayed into the rooms to find him guilty, because they felt there wasn't enough evidence. But there was a lot of evidence. It just didn't have. They
are Bruno Magli. It says it on the screen. I just realized that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I stand corrected. It was Bruno Magli. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry if someone had earbuds in and I just coughed your ear off.
It's okay.
Glove evidence. Left glove found at Bundy and right glove found at Simpson residence are Eris Lake glove, size extra large.
Bloomingdale's, not Brown Barney. Sorry.
Gotcha. Receipt shows Nicole Brown bought a pair of Eris Light XL gloves in 1990 at Bloomingdale's. They both begin with B, same thing.
They're B in New York.
Simpson wore Eris Light gloves from 1990 to June 1994. Shoe evidence. Shoe prints found at Bundy were from a size 12 Bruno Magli shoe. A bloody shoe impression on the Broncos carpet is consistent. Oh my God. There was a bloody shoe impression on his carpet. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I knew that.
Is consistent with the Magli shoe. Simpson wore size 12 shoes. Photo evidence shows Simpson wearing Bruno Magli shoes. Wow. He's got them on here.
Yeah, that's how they got him. And they won the case for, God, $35 million, I think it was, that the families got, that the judge awarded them. And that they've never seen the money. The only money that they've received were from the sale of that book, If I Did It. The families received.
If I Did It, did they win the rights to that book?
They did. The Goldman acquired the rights to that book. OJ Simpson wrote it, and it was so minute in detail. They're like, he did it. He killed her, because the details were so minute. I think Thumb Thug read that book. In fact, I know she did.
Yeah, she sent us some excerpts from it.
Right. But they changed it. They changed the name of the book. In fact, the Goldmans in the interview, they said when they acquired the book, they put "I did it" and they put the "if" in little letters inside the "I," so that way nobody could see that. And it was "I did it." And I don't know how much money. I should have bought the book just to give them a little bit of money, because, I mean, they're still grieving the loss of their son, because he feels like he raised those two children. The wife had stepped away. In fact, I think there was a little bit of an insurance policy, and he fought his ex-wife, the mother of the two children, because they never saw their mother. He had to take her to court, I think, for the insurance money, because she wanted half of his insurance, and the father fought her to not get that insurance. So their lives have never been, their lives, I mean, she married and has a child, but their lives have never been complete since the loss of their son and child. I mean, their son and brother.
Yeah, I watched the interviews with Ron Goldman's dad, and he was like distraught. He was so upset in the one interview. I think I saved it so we could watch it. Oh, Jan, there was a mixture of Ron's and Nicole's blood in the Bronco. Wow, I mean, that's crazy. That I can't believe that they had all this evidence. And
that's what fascinates me, is there was all this DNA, and yet it swayed towards OJ's defense team. I mean, that DNA was minute.
It was just the right trial at the right time for them, like with everything going on. They got lucky.
The LAPD, like Jen Lou said, the LAPD were corrupt. There was just no way anybody could win a trial. So when he won, everybody was shocked. I can remember watching and just people being, I mean, they had horses lined up. They had all the police force lined up just in case he lost, because they knew that there was going to be a riot.
Yeah.
So everybody was just, I mean, all over the country, there were cameras going all over the place showing the reactions from people and the shock that they had, because everybody thought he was guilty. I did.
Yeah.
You guys were too little. You were babies.
Well,
they
showed a lot of like African American reactions too, and they were praising. They were ecstatic that he was found not guilty because of the whole Rodney King situation. I guess they were so mad at LAPD that they were relieved.
Yeah, they were. It was a trial that was very shocking. And it lasted a long time. I mean, months. So, and they were sequestered. This was a sequestered jury that was sequestered for months, not just a couple days.
Yeah. I was like, it went on like 99 days, didn't it?
It was crazy how long the trial was. Yeah. And the judge, he retired after this case. He never did another trial after this.
So here's the map. Did the limo driver come to Ashford Gate?
I'm not sure when he pulled up on Rockingham, which exactly, because my sense of direction is like, if I didn't live on Colorado, I wouldn't know where West was. Don't laugh, but that's the truth. So go ahead.
Let me see. Allen Park is A. Okay, so Allen Park was at Ashford Gate. So he's the limo driver. So he's at this one. Let me pull this from the screen so we could see a little better. And then B is Cato right here. So he came from over here where his house is. Over, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but right here, here's Cato's house. So he came up this way because he heard a noise. All right. See where my cursor is? Back here, it's really hard to see, guys. Sorry. But back here was an air conditioning unit behind Cato's house or guest house, and he heard noise going back there, so he got scared and he came out with a flashlight. And he walked. Sorry, I'm getting confused with StreamYard. And all right, can you guys see it? So this is where the AC unit was. Cato came walking out, and over here with a flashlight. And they saw a shadowy figure that was best described as OJ's figure walking from this way where he would have parked the Bronco and up Rockingham Gate. But they think he ran back this scary back alley here and disposed of the glove and then came up to the porch. All right, so D was a blood spot. And E is the foyer intercom right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then F is the Bronco. You can see the picture of the Bronco over here. G is the Bentley. Where's the Bentley? Okay, so the Bentley was in the driveway. The first gate. Where is H? Okay, so H is the gate to the scary back alley. Cato said he was afraid to go to the back alley. Okay, yeah, Cato's air conditioning unit, which is this red thing. That's where they found the glove on the air conditioning unit. And
beside the air conditioning, that's where Furman found it, right?
Yep, and that's where Cato heard like thumps, and that's why he went out and started looking for what's J? Oh yeah, so that's where the glove. That's when he walked out with the flashlight to see what was going on, but he didn't want to go through the alley because he was scared. This is a schematic of individuals as we are to okay, never mind. This is in a weird way. This is a schematic of the Simpson residence before and immediately after the murders. The letters A through L represent the locations of individuals as well as the evidence. The red marks represent the location of the bloodstains found at the estate. Please note that there are two entrances, one on Rockingham and the other on Ashford. The limo driver was at Ashford. Friday, June 17th, 1994, Simpson is charged with 2 counts of murder with special circumstances. He does not surrender and is declared a fugitive. At approximately 6:45 p.m., police spot a white Ford Bronco driving along an expressway in L.A. Simpson and is traveling with a friend, Al Collins, and reportedly has a gun. Simpson and his friend lead police on a 60-mile low-speed pursuit through southern Los Angeles at 8 p.m. The vehicle arrives at the Simpsons' Brentwood mansion at 8:51. Wow. So that's a really long chase. Simpson surrenders and is jailed without bail. Police find a gun, cash and disguise in the Bronco. That's where they found the adhesive and the fake mustache and goatee and the passport. Simpson likely bumped the AC unit when he climbed the fence and dropped the bloody glove. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably. Oh, yeah, because he probably came the other way so nobody would see him because he knew that the limo driver would be there soon.
Yeah, he was.
DNA and blood evidence figure. While interviewing Simpson, police discover a cut on his finger. Bronco DNA analysis of the blood found in and near Simpson's Bronco revealed traces of Simpson's, Nicole's, and Ronald Goldman's blood. Socks.
Well,
DNA.
here's my question: when he said he broke a glass, did they actually call the hotel and ask if the cleaning service found a broken glass in the hotel room? Was there one in the sink? For some reason, I'm thinking there was.
I don't know. That's a good question. But I know that he said that when he found out that she died, that he like squeezed the glass so hard that it cut his hand, and that was his excuse. I can look that up.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've forgotten that. It's been so long I can't remember if there was actually a broken glass in the hotel room with blood on that glass. Because that could have, but they never. I don't remember that being brought up in trial.
Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm in like a
Those
leather
are
seat.
such little minute things that.
But they're
you don't
important
remember.
to, if he did break it with the glass, then that changes a lot of things because most people, especially if you stab somebody that many times, you're bound to have cuts on your hands.
Well, his life is basically non-existent. I don't know what he does other than play golf every day, and he's in his 70s now. I think he was born in
jail for a while for armed robbery, right?
Right, for that armed robbery in Vegas, and he was set up for that. They set up that whole thing, and that's interesting because that's another issue that was brought up in that documentary.
Like the police set him up?
No, the people who were selling. Someone had called him. The man who was selling the cards, the OJ Simpson's cards. He was very sly. Anyway, I'll back up with that other comment. This guy had called him and said, "Hey, I know somebody who has all your property." Now, OJ Simpson lost everything, and most of the things that he lost, his agent took them. They're in warehouses, I think, right now, and I think some of them have been sold, like his Heisman Trophy, his Super Bowl rings, his any kind of ring that any trophy he acquired, those were taken away. And his agent said he owed me money, and he took all that stuff. And I think even Nicole's wedding ring, I think, was part of the, because she didn't even get to keep the wedding ring. I think even that was sold. So there's a lot of things that were put in storage, and that his agent took those things because he owed him money. So, and I think the Heisman got sold. I don't know who owns it now, a private party, I think.
Oh, I know that,
but, that's his trophy. Why would
somebody? Well, I mean, it's probably worth a ton of money now. But somebody even has the Bronco, like them car companies that like pimp your ride type deal. It's one of them car places. They have OJ's Bronco, and they bought it for like $300,000 or something.
Right.
Like that. I think it's so the DNA analysis of blood on the socks found in Simpson's bedroom were proven to be Nicole's blood. You think Ron Goldman's blood would be on the socks too, but like you would think there would be a mixture.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that the police think this is what happened. That I don't know. Nicole was hit on the head and knocked unconscious, and then Ron Goldman came up and interrupted the kill, and he killed Ron Goldman first, and then she was next, because she was unconscious. He could come back and do what he needed to do.
Yeah. Well,
and then went back. And then went back and did the postmortem stabbing of Goldman, the neck, and I think they said that hers was also postmortem, but I'm not. I have
To
to
make sure
remember.
that
I have to look back and remember.
to
Well,
make sure
yeah,
they
it
were
was.
dead.
They would know. They were. He knew they were dead. It was violent. It was a violent act after postmortem. That's how angry he was at the fact of what she was doing, and how someone could take that time, because what the timeline is within minutes that they were each killed. Wasn't very long,
Yeah.
but to be that angry for even say 5 minutes, that's a lot of anger.
BG, there's a link if you want to come up
Yeah,
and talk about it.
because she might have more stuff than I do, because it's been a while since I've done some research on it. I listened to the podcast that Thump put in our chat, but that was interesting, and it refreshed a lot of my memory and brought back a lot of things that I read, because I read Jeffrey Toobin's book, a run for what's the name of it? Made in America. No, that's the movie, but I
Hello.
think it was called A Run for His Life.
Hey,
Hi.
thank you for having me up here. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
thanks for
discuss something.
coming.
I enjoy a good discussion.
Yeah, same.
Nice.
So, have you followed this at all?
I literally just found your channel. Don't ask me how today. Right now, actually. Like, I follow people that do live streams and, like, they shout out other people. I think that's how I found you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like, through
Well,
friends.
I'm gonna mute and go get some water, Kate. I'll be right back.
okay.
Oh, sure, yeah, let's talk. So, what's the topic of discussion is
OJ
OJ?
Simpson. Yeah, I thought it
Right.
would be a good topic for since
It's
they just
very
had the
controversial. Definitely.
Johnny Depp case, I thought it would be a good revisit.
Okay. So how do you relate the two? I just tapped in, so I wasn't here for the whole thing anymore.
I just like true crime, and I really like. I got really in the Johnny Depp case, and I was like, you know what? I feel like the OJ Simpson trial would be good to cover because this was just as popular, if not more, than
So not relatable, just out of popularity.
um. I mean, I don't know if besides doing covering true crime, I don't know if I could relate to it. Besides that, I just like covering cases, but
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to fill in right here. So okay, you're just about yeah, real cases. Okay, cool. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
I cover
I'm
true
down to
crime
talk about
cases.
that.
So.
True. So
Gian
how do you
said,
feel about?
"Go
I
ahead,
have a lot to say. Okay, my
yeah,
bad. Yeah.
go ahead."
So I feel like Johnny Depp, even though he won, he lost. How do you feel about
You
that?
think he lost? I think it's the opposite way around. I think even if he lost, he won because
Oh, so let's talk about that. Yeah,
he
that's kind of
was
powerful.
because he was. I mean, his reputation was like ruined, and now he's more popular than he's probably always been.
No, see, wow. So you agree? So you think that after this case that made him more popular?
Oh yeah.
He was one
Oh
of the
no, I mean
most
he was one of
loved
the best
actors.
actors of all time, but I'm saying
Right. This
like
situation did not make him more relevant than what he was, in my opinion.
no, but I think it made him relatable to a lot of people.
I don't
Because
know. Tell us how.
you don't really see like the darker side of like celebrities, and I think he was very open about his struggles, and I think a lot of people have similar struggles than him, and I
Okay,
think
what struggles specifically? I know you're gonna talk about like
like
cocaine or
his
something.
drug addiction and
Yeah, how
people,
did I know? Okay, yeah, he's an alcoholic that does cocaine. Let me tell you this though, I guarantee you, Amber Heard was not doing cocaine before he met him.
yeah, she
Oh,
was.
before she met him.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
she
was.
was? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the I
So how
in
did
her medical
he?
notes.
Wow. Okay, so you know a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
I'm speculating here. Stipulating. I'm so drunk.
Speculating.
Speculating. So I'm just saying. So you're saying it's not him that got her hooked on coke. So what is it
No,
though?
she was had an addiction to cocaine before she met him, It's actually in her medical history notes that she
So who's at fault here though? Like we're talking about two people that are just as medicated as one another.
toxic and medicated.
Toxic,
I think she was
medicated.
the
There's
aggressor.
no
Did you hear the audio tapes of her admitting to hitting him and telling him that if he told the world that he was abused, that nobody would believe him because he's a man?
I haven't seen that. I'm not
So
saying
that
it's
so
not out there. I haven't seen
he
that.
recorded her saying basically that she was like, what did she say? I didn't punch you, Johnny. I hit you. That was not a punch. It was I hit you. And then he was like, I
Wow,
mean,
justifying a hit. Like
yeah. And then he was like, well, you punched me. And then she was like, oh, Johnny, you're such a fucking baby. Stop being a baby. And then there was another audio where she said, hold on, let me get the direct quote.
I think they're both at fault. Like they're both as toxic as one another.
I think they were both toxic, but I think she was the aggressor personally.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
Johnny Depp. And hold on. She also admitted in an audio that she was worried that because they were getting divorced that she would be kicked out of the penthouse within 21 days, and all her friends live there too.
Wow. So she had an
Uh
incentive all of a sudden.
yeah, she had an incentive. They would all have been kicked out. So Johnny Depp. You remember, guys, what the exact quote was? Johnny Depp. Domestic abuse. Let me see if I can find the quote. Well, in a nutshell, she said, tell the world, Johnny. Tell them I, Johnny Depp, is a victim of like domestic abuse and nobody will believe you because you're a man. And then she tipped off TMZ to be there when she filed a TRO against
Wow.
him. So, and she said she wanted it to be private, but obviously she didn't because she tipped off the news to be there. So I personally think that they were both toxic, but I did think that she set him up and tried to defame him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of domestic. A lot of men won't come step forward to talk about. We're going to get a debate on this one. Talk about their abuse from a woman, but I think that because they're men and men don't talk about things like that.
Yeah.
But let me say, even though
But it
he
happens.
won,
I know.
right? Even
Go
though
ahead.
he won, he still lost because he got canceled from Pirates
Go
of the
ahead.
Caribbean.
Even though
He
he won
lost out
what?
on I don't know how many millions did he lose out on versus what he won. Like at the end of the game, like he lost way more than what he came up on
Yeah, but I
after
think
this.
he's
Well,
gonna make. He's gonna
he
make
may
that
have
up.
lost on making the movie Pirates of the
Yeah,
Caribbean, but
exactly.
his contract was paid up. They paid him off of his contract. He didn't
Really?
he lost being on the part, but he didn't lose any of the money. Yes, no.
Oh, okay.
And he
So
actually
okay,
stepped
I didn't
away
know
from
that.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Hey, that's all good with me. Hey, if
he
you
actually
pay me
stepped away from
even
Fantastic Beasts.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. I would do the same. If you're gonna
All
pay
right.
me nothing
J.K.
to hear.
Rowling still wanted J.K. Rowling still wanted him on Fantastic Beasts. She fought for him with the second movie, and she wanted
Wow.
him on the next one, or maybe the first one. She fought to keep him in the movie, but he stepped away from the movie, saying that he would cause too much controversy, and he didn't want to do that to the movie. So I
Johnny
haven't seen
Depp
it
is
yet. It's come out last.
he's one of the
Yes.
most loved. Like he would go to
No,
Make
I
a
don't know
Wish
about most
foundations.
loved. I mean,
Wait. You telling me he wouldn't show up to Make a Wish foundations for the kids? He was there for the kids, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he was very loved. I
oh yeah.
promise you. He would show up in all pirate gear for the kids. I promise you, he was very loved. There's
Yeah.
imagine.
Hmm.
Okay, who's more? There's so many actors out there that wouldn't do that, but he's the type that would. I promise you, there's a lot of assholes out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
arguing
Well.
that point. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
I
right
I
about
promise you,
that.
agree with
But
he's a
that.
as for
good
being the most
person. I
loved,
promise you, he
Yeah.
is
but for
So
very
being
loved
most
by the
loved
community.
for in a movie or
Maybe
in
not
his
most,
field,
but very.
in his
He's
field.
So this is what Amber said to him. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them. Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, a man, I am a victim too of domestic violence. See how many people believe or side with you.
That's strong.
Yeah, so, I mean, I personally think she totally set him up, but for sure. And I think he's gonna come out in the end. I think he's already doing Beetlejuice with Tim Burton. So that'll be cool. And I think he's got a movie with Robert Downey Jr. I think is putting him on a movie. So I think a lot of people see. I mean, she even lied. She got lying on the stand and everything. So I just think people found her not credible at all.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah.
She's incredible, man.
Well, I'm going to continue reading this evidence. If you want to stay and talk about OJ, you're welcome.
Oh, did she just leave?
She'll be back. She probably got kicked. Hopefully.
I'm gonna mute myself. I'm sorry if it was me. Then I'm just gonna mute.
No, it wasn't you. She probably just accidentally got it off. She'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah, she disconnected. She'll be back.
It happens. I disconnect myself all the time. Where was I? Oh, so here is blood stains were on the door handle. These are all the door stains. Blood stains in the car. Wow, I didn't even know this. So they were on the door, the steering wheel, the dash. Looks like the bloody footprint down here on the pedal, on the seat, on the headrest. So there was like blood all. Okay, good. Oh, StreamYard kicked you out. All right, I'll post the link in chat again just so when you want to come back, you don't have to look for it. I wish you Seroquel makes you fat.
Oh wait, are you streaming to Twitch right now too?
Yeah, I'm streaming on
Twitch,
Twitch,
Facebook, Twitch, YouTube.
I do all three, so
damn, okay.
It gets the name out there more, you know. What is this? This is the other glove that they found. Okay, I guess that's the glove. Here's the DNA samples that match OJ, Nicole, Ron Goldman. All right, so here's the defense arguments, guys. Alleged blood samples were sloppily collected and poorly handled, which rendered DNA test results unreliable. Claimed Simpson's finger cut was not severe enough to leave the amount of evidence left at the crime scene. Alleged Simpson injured his finger by shattering a glass in the Chicago hotel room after hearing of his wife's murder. So my question is if his hair was on Ron Goldman, how would they have planted that? It's not like they could have just took OJ's hair off his head and did that. But I mean, I guess if they weren't able to test that it was actually OJ's hair, it could have just been someone with similar hair. Thousands of people owned Bruno Magli shoes, and other shoe imprints that were unidentified were left at the crime scene. Simpson's hair fibers could have been left on Brown and Goldman because police used a blanket from the victim's apartment to cover the bodies. Oh, okay. So that's where the hair came from, that they used a blanket. So wait, that's stupid. The police use a blanket from
the crime scene. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, instead of having their own, they usually have a sheet that they put over. Why would they use a blanket? That's fine, Gladys. Take your time. Why would they?
Unless you misidentified a sheet as a blanket. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I know that the kids were in the house, so maybe they were like panicking and wanted to try and cover. Yeah, I can't believe it either, Kid Bailey, that OJ was found not guilty. But yeah, if
money,
if
you know what it takes? It takes some money. That's what it takes.
Well, that and It was a
I do believe it.
really
I do believe money pays for
oh yeah, for sure.
innocence. I'm
Money
sorry.
makes a
It's fucked
huge
up.
difference.
I'm not the type that could pay for that. I'm just saying, like, it
Most
happens.
people wouldn't be able to.
Right.
It's like he was paying millions of dollars for them, and not only that, but I think the main reason that he was found not guilty is because the Rodney King beatings had happened right before then, where the police beat up Rodney King, and
Oh, so you say politics had
yeah,
a great deal to. Oh
people
shit.
were mad and didn't trust the LAPD,
As
and
they
then
shouldn't. The LAPD
yeah,
has been. They got exposed for being so corrupt.
yeah, and they made the LAPD look really bad, and I think that, and also the jury was predominantly African American, which they most African American people were very upset about the Rodney King thing, and they really did not trust the police. So they felt like the police did a terrible job collecting evidence and could have messed it up. And they also believed that they could have planted evidence. So um,
Basically, a shit show. Like,
it was the
holy fuck.
right time to, like any other time. I believe he would have been found guilty, but that trial was just at the right place in the right time for sure. Uh, the glove behind Simpson's apartment was left by Detective Mark Furman, a racist cop trying to frame Simpson.
Racist.
Yeah, they had audio of him saying
Oh,
the
some
N.
N words, this and that.
Yeah, they really outed him,
Damn.
and then they had witnesses who said there was a guy he arrested who was a black male, and he called him an N word.
Wow. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. All that adds up. Like a
Yeah, so
automatic
it looked like he could have tried to frame. They made it seem like he framed OJ.
This
A ra-
the whole shit's fucked up, man. If you
yeah,
look
it was a
into it,
circus for
it's
sure.
terrible.
Gloves did not fit Simpson during a courtroom test because they were not his. So they brought out the gloves, which they they I've heard that OJ knew this was coming and purposely swelled his hands. I think he had arthritis too.
Right, he like didn't take his medication or something for the
Yeah,
day.
he
Like,
had arthritis and he didn't take his medication, and I'm sure the gloves probably shrunk a little bit from being soaked in blood, but that's when he tried the glove on and his hand didn't fit, so they made that big saying, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, and that's where that came from.
I would be a good lawyer. I'd be the type of asshole to like figure that shit out. Unfortunately, I don't agree with that. Yeah, what he did, he should be acquitted. Or no, not acquitted, but he should be charged for that, man. Honestly, he really killed two people. No, three, right? His
Uh,
baby mama, the kid, and the dude that was like,
no, not the kid. It was just his ex-wife and Ronald Goldman, just two.
oh, I thought she was pregnant or some shit.
Uh, I'm not sure about that. Does anyone know if she was pregnant? I don't know if she.
Maybe
It
not.
looks like he also stretched his hand out. Yeah, probably. Um, where was I? Socks found in Simpson's bedroom were planted by racist detectives wanting to frame Simpson. Blood in Simpson's white Ford Bronco was planted. Simpson did not have to drive to his wife's house, commit the murders, and then return home in time to meet his limousine driver.
Wow.
I mean, wait, is that where he put the gloves on? I mean, they
That's
fit in
credible.
there.
What source is that? What? It's,
That's from the trial. Like all this was what this
that's
was what the defense's arguments as
credible for
to
sure.
why. Yeah, she wasn't pregnant.
Okay.
Oh, I guess are they the shoes? What am I looking at here? The verdict. Okay. The verdict at 10 a.m. on October 3rd, 1995, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty. The only testimony reviewed was that of a limo driver, Alan Park, who stated he did not see Simpson's Bronco outside of Rockingham Estate. So wait, the jury only reviewed that testimony? Like they came up with the verdict in like 4 hours. Who
A
stated he
hung
did
jury,
not
brother.
see Simpson's Bronco outside of the Rockingham estate the night of the murders. the night the murders occurred. The jury arrived at the verdict after only 4 hours of deliberation. That's crazy fast. An estimated 100 million people worldwide stopped what they were doing to watch or listen to the verdict announcement. According to statistics, long-distance telephone call volume declined by 58%, while trading volume on the New York Stock Exchange declined by 41%. Even national water usage decreased as people avoided using bathrooms to watch the verdict unfold. Due to the fact that so many people stopped what they were doing, the verdict cost an estimated $480 million in lost productivity. So between the stock market, between them not using the phone and the water and all that,
This motherfucker claims stock market losses. What a fucking rich asshole.
$480
Like, who
million
claims that?
they lost from people not
Wow.
being involved in that. The
Yeah,
United
with
States
him.
Supreme Court received a message on the verdict during oral arguments, with the justices quietly passing the note to each other while listening to a presentation. Congressmen canceled press conferences, with one telling reporters, "Not only would you not be here, but I wouldn't be here either." Domino's Pizza reported a large rise in pizza sales in the 15 minutes before the verdict. However, when the announcement began, the order stopped and not a single pizza was ordered in the United States for 5 minutes. 90% of African Americans who watched the announcement believed Simpson was innocent. 10 years later, 90% of those same individuals thought he was guilty. How
Wow.
crazy is that? Is that
Those
at the
analytics don't add
time
up. That's
they
crazy.
thought he was innocent, and 10 years later they thought he was guilty? Like, these are all the people
Yeah,
celebrating.
after the facts came about, I mean, everyone's against him.
They were so
What do you
upset
think?
about Rodney King that I think a lot of people were just blinded by that situation and didn't even really they didn't even really like take it into account, a lot of the evidence, which I don't blame them, because that really did cause a huge distrust within the community and they wanted the LAPD to suffer, I'm sure. Yeah, the trial went on for like 99 days or something like that.
So where are you from though? Are you northern or southern from?
The Northeast.
Oh, northeast. Okay.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I think I'm gonna I got some stuff we could put
It's
up real
life,
quick.
you're a savage for being on this light. I swear. What is it for me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's midnight right now.
Yeah, it's late. So it's 9 for me. So it's all good though. I'll cheers to that.
Hold on. I think I have the clip of him. I'm gonna see if I can play that. Oh wait, this is BuzzFeed. This isn't the one I wanted. All right, hold on. I'm having trouble navigating my 3 monitors. Give me a second.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
you got a lot going on. That's all good.
Yeah. Hold on. I put it somewhere. Where do I go in my playlist? Hold on. History. No.
Oh, we got another guest. Heard that.
Yeah. There she is. Hey, Gladys.
Sorry, I
What
had to
up?
take a
Is there
call.
What up,
Okay.
Gladys?
car chase
Hi.
police audio? This is the one I was looking for. I think this is it.
You know, they were going like what 35 miles an hour. They weren't going very
Yeah.
fast.
They were going slow. For sure.
That ain't nothing,
The
really.
first time you're hearing exclusive police audio
Sorry.
tapes made during the chase, which capture the frantic negotiations between an apparently suicidal Simpson and a Los Angeles
Suicidal
police detective
Simpson.
who would soon be a household name, Tom Lang.
I'm losing you. OJ still there? Hello? Juice, you still there? Talk to me.
Kind of funny to hear you call him Juice.
You will find that throughout this investigation and for the rest of my life, that will be the only time that I do it.
Kind of embarrassed to hear yourself call him that now.
Well, yes.
Detectives Tom Lang and Phil Van Adder were more than embarrassed during the Simpson trial. They were humiliated. At one point, even referred to disparagingly as dumb and dumber.
57 years of police work between us. What a revelation now. There were a couple of fumbling idiots.
I don't think anybody's ever been put under a microscope like Tom and I were put under a microscope. And it's surprising to me that there weren't more mistakes made.
It was a microscope put there by the Simpson defense team.
You can't trust the messenger?
Faster. That's 50%. We need 100%
Mistakes, real and
faster.
perceived, made by this pair became pieces of the puzzle that locked into the defense theory of a police conspiracy and cover-up. Pieces like Van Adder's search warrant and his erroneous claim that Simpson was on an unscheduled trip.
I have to make a finding that it was at least reckless.
Tom Lang covering Nicole's body with a blanket taken from inside her condo, which the defense claimed contaminated the scene.
It was a terrible mistake to put this blanket from inside the house into the middle of the crime scene.
Van Adder carrying blood samples of both victims before they'd been logged as evidence and bringing a vial of Simpson's blood to the crime scene.
So you just have this blood in your car, wasn't there?
And what the defense called the suspiciously sloppy handling of evidence, like Lang carrying...
We get it. Everyone's guilty.
Everyone's joking about what?
What they
Everyone's
said.
guilty. They're guilty. They're not joking. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
I'm
said
sorry.
They're all guilty.
Okay, I
all these
misunderstood you.
assholes.
No, I
meant-
apologize.
Yeah,
I
they're
thought it
dumb.
had the audio of the investigator with them, like where he talks to OJ and OJ's like says something like I need to be punished for this, or but I didn't hear it. That's what I was looking for. But that is so stupid that they put that sheet there. That like her blanket from the house that totally contaminates.
That was the other problem, that they didn't cover her properly, that they grabbed things from inside the house because they were afraid, because the police were being summoned, that it wasn't protected properly and destroyed DNA when they pulled those blankets from the house. That was another issue. I remember that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's hold on. I love this
This whole
website.
case, I think, from jump was handled incorrectly. I think they took advantage, and I think they became cocky, and their protocol wasn't set up on these things. I bet that's not the case now, but that was the case back then.
Yeah.
I think they took advantage of the fact that they thought they could get away with these things.
What was?
Where are we going?
I'm trying to go. Hold on. I sent it to myself. I just wanted to. I have to. Let me get the website. So there's a website. It's called Famous Trials. Hold on. I got it. /Simpson. And it has a lot of the. There you go. This is a really informative site. I like this one. All right. Let me
I'm on that site too. I like this website.
Yeah. If I Did It, the quasi confession of OJ. So he wrote that book, If I Did It. In an interview promoting his new book, which, like Reagan Books, is owned by News Corp, Simpson offered such incriminating observations as, I don't think any two people could be murdered without everybody being covered in blood. The announcement of the book was met with a barrage of criticism. Ron Goldman's sister, Kim Goldman, on CNN's Liar King Live expressed the outrage of victims. He's telling us one more time, I'm going to continue to get away with killing your family members, and I'm not going to honor the judgment, and look at me, ha ha ha. Criticism caused HarperCollins to recall the book and Fox to cancel the Simpson interview. In January 2007, Newsweek magazine obtained a copy for a chapter from the book. The chapter contained numerous statements that would seem nonsensical if not made by the murderer of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, despite the insistence of Simpson's lawyer that the account is purely hypothetical. In September 2007, Buford Books published If I Did It, with profits from the sale going to the Goldman family. The book soared to #1 on Amazon. So this is chapter 6, the night in question. I moved past the front door of Nicole's condo to take a closer look. This is really bizarre why anyone would even write something like this, like hypothetically. It's like really stupid. There were candles burning inside, and I could hear faint music playing. Didn't she set a bath? for herself and lit candles. I think they said that she before the murder she put a bath on and was creating a relaxing environment. It was obvious that Nicole was expecting company. I wondered who the fuck it was this time. I wondered if maybe Faye was coming over with some of her boy toys so they could get all wild and dirty while my kids were sleeping upstairs.
That's disgusting. That's gross.
Yeah, well, Faye wrote a book that was really freaking disrespectful too, which I'll get to after this. But just as I was beginning to get, didn't she in her book say that they had like lesbian sex and all kinds of stuff? Like,
yeah, she said they did cocaine.
No, that's okay, but when you involve kids, like,
okay, well, it was like she made it seem like they were having like, you know, sex parties. Like, not there's nothing wrong with two women.
You can still see her at some of the Housewives of Beverly Hills. You can still see her in the background at those parties.
Yeah, Faye Resnick. Yeah,
times at the parties.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like she made it seem like they were having like wild, you know, parties and you know, that she was sleeping with men and women and like that's
keyword made it seem like
she was like sleeping around with all kinds of people, men, women, and you know, doing cocaine and it like she made it seem very, what do you call it, like she was wild. I wondered if maybe Faye was coming over with some of her boy toys so they could get all wild and dirty while my kids were sleeping upstairs. Just as I was beginning to get seriously steamed, the back gate squeaked open. A guy came walking through like he owned the fucking place. He saw me and froze. He was young and good looking with a thick head of hair, and I tried to place him, but I've never seen him before. I didn't even know his name. Ron Goldman. Who the F are you? I said. I just came by to return a pair of glasses, he replied, stammering. Really? A pair of glasses, huh? And that's an excerpt of... It's just so bizarre that he would even write a story like putting himself at the crime scene. Like, I don't get why anyone would do that. Like, if I did it, this is how it would have went down. That's so stupid. Like, what the...
Yeah, he went. That book was. He was trying to make money, and in fact, I think he did a pay-per-view. Remember, he was charging like I don't know how much money, and that producer got fired, and
wow.
it's actually on YouTube. But she lost her job because she was a book editor or something, and she actually did with the editor who sold this book, and he did a pay-per-view interview, and people protested that so horribly that pay-per-view never aired it. But you could see it on YouTube.
Oh, I don't believe.
Because I did find it.
I'd be mad too. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wanted. No.
Motive and state of mind, according to Simpson's account, which Newweeks described as employing the classic language of a wife abuser, Nicole Brown shared much of the blame for her own death. Simpson calls her the enemy and expresses outrage that she would flirt openly with other men in front of their children. He admits to seething with anger on June 12, 1994, the day of the double murder. At the scene of the crime, after downing a meal with Kato Kalin, Simpson, dressed in a dark sweatsuit, speeds over to Nicole's condo in Brentwood. He parks in the alley, puts on a knit wool cap and gloves. Oh, so this is what he describes. And grabs the knife he keeps in his Bronco. According to Simpson, his intent at this point was to scare his ex-wife, not kill her. Encounter with Ronald Goldman. After entering the property through a broken gate, Simpson sees Ronald Goldman arriving at the condo. Simpson, in his Tell Nearly All chapter, reports that he accuses Goldman of planning to sleep with Nicole, which Goldman denies. Nicole tells Simpson to leave Goldman alone, that he was just returning glasses she had left in a restaurant. But Nicole's Akita, when it wags its tail to greet Ron, convinces Simpson that Ronald and Nicole have a sexual relationship. Simpson yells at Goldman, "You've been here before." Oh, jeez. murder, it seems. In Simpson's account, Nicole charges at him like a banshee, falling and smacking her head on the concrete. When Goldman drops to a karate stance, Simpson loses it. In what amounts in almost anyone's book as a confession, Simpson writes that something went horribly wrong and I know what happened, but I can't tell you how. This is so bizarre. I never read this, and I'm just reading it now, and this is fucking bizarre. He wanted to get paid thousands of dollars to pose by her grave for photo ops? Get the hell out of here. Yeah, not many people have the nerve to do something like that after being found out guilty. It was like he had just to rub it in the family's faces even more. Yeah, this is weird. Like, really weird. Later, in a taped interview to promote the book that was never aired on television, Simpson, according to a partial transcript obtained by New York Times, said that after this guy kind of got into the karate thing, I remember I grabbed the knife. Asked in the interview whether he removed his glove before grabbing the knife, Simpson replied, You know I had no conscious memory of doing that, but obviously I must have because they found a glove there. Fleeing the scene, Simpson describes himself as soaked in blood and holding a bloody knife with Goldman and Nicole dead in front of him. He strips to his socks before re-entering his Bronco. So he's naked? What happened to the rest? So would he walk in his house naked? What happened to the rest of the bloody clothes remains a mystery. Simpson's bloody socks were discovered in the bedroom of his home on Rockingham. Seeing the limo parked in front of his house, Simpson enters the estate along a darkened pathway, banging loudly into an air conditioner for Kaylin's bedroom as he attempts to do so. In Simpson's story, he places a second man, a friend named Charlie, with him at the time of the murders. Charlie, Simpson reports, attempts to stop Simpson from doing what he's doing, committing murder, presumably. So what's AC's real name? Like, what's his full name? Do you know? Like, what does AC stand for?
You know what? I don't know, and I'll have to look it up. It's weird. It's another weird name, I think, because OJ's.
What if it's something Charles, and that might. Let's see.
Arthur Charles, Andrew. I don't know. Hold on, let me.
That may be who he's talking about. Oh, Cowlings. I keep doing rolling.
It's Cowling. Cowling. Like a cow.
It's Alan Cedric. Never mind. I thought maybe I was on to something there, but Alan clearly Cedric, I wasn't.
No. AC, yeah.
Wait, maybe I can. Did you, Thumbthug? Did you send me chapter 6 when you sent the excerpt? I kind of want to like read the actual chapter, not their summary of it. If I did it. Sorry if my keys are loud. Ah, I got it. All right, so this is the actual chapter. Now picture this and keep in mind this is hypothetical. Charlie reached the gate, and the first thing I noticed is that he wasn't smiling. OJ, my man, what's up? He said. It sounded kind of forced. What's up with you? I said. I went over and opened the gate and stepped through, and we shook hands. What brings you to these parts? Not much. I was out to dinner with some guys down in Santa Monica. I thought I'd stop by to say hello. You've got a strange look on your face, Charlie. I said. Something bothering you? Charlie looked away, avoiding my eyes. It's nothing, man, he said. Come on, I said. You could tell me. He looked back at me, struggling with his thoughts. You're not going to like it, he said finally. Where was it? Oh. My stomach lurched again, and right away I knew this is about Nicole, isn't it? Charlie nodded. What about her? You're not going to like it, he repeated. Just tell me, I said, already riled up, before I get pissed off. Charlie took a step back like he thought I might hit him or something. A couple of these guys at dinner tonight. I guess they didn't know that you and I were friends, he began, tripping over the words. They started talking about this little trip they took to Cabo a few months back in March, I think it was, and these girls they party with. Yeah, Charlie took a moment. It was Nicole and her friend Faye, he said. I'm listening, I said. I tried to stay calm, but I was fit to explode. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of drinking, and apparently things got pretty kinky. Why are you fucking telling me this, man? I hollered. I turned and had to fight the urge to put my fist through the Bentley's window. I'm sorry, man. I thought you'd want to know. Well, I don't fucking want to know. I'm sick of hearing this shit. I'm sorry. That's the mother of my children. I know, man. I'm sorry. That's why I told you. I know you two have been through a lot of shit, and I know it can't be easy. I thought maybe if you talk to her. What the fuck is wrong with you? I've been trying to talk to her for years. She won't listen to me. She won't listen to her family. She won't listen to her friends. OJ, man, I'm not the enemy here. I turned around fuming and tried to count to 10. I didn't make it. By the time I got to 3, I realized that Charlie was right. He wasn't the enemy. Nicole was the enemy. I looked at my watch. I had less than an hour before the limo showed up to take me to the airport. Just enough time to drive to Bundy, read her the fucking riot act, and get my ass back to the house. Like, there's no way this ain't no confession. Like, I mean,
No.
there's no way that, like, this is a confession, basically.
It's a full blown confession. They said that.
Yeah, like,
that
there's
book
no
was-
way he
was-
has all these specific details down.
Yeah, that book was written so minute, in such minute detail, that this is what he did and how he killed her.
This is crazy. I'm dying to know who Charlie is. Probably AC, but
Probably AC.
yeah. Where was
I
it?
think
Come
AC
on.
was with him. I really do think AC was with him.
Yeah. Hold on.
Because I think they were partners in crime for a lot of things.
Come on, I said, and moved toward my Bronco. Where are we going? Just come. Charlie got in. I started the Bronco, and the gate whirred to life. And I pulled into the street, the tires squealing against the curb. Where are we going, OJ? We're going to scare the shit out of that girl. I said, what now? It never fucking ends. Every time I turn around, it's something new, and none of it's pretty. This isn't a good idea, OJ. Fuck that. I'm tired of being the understanding ex-husband. I have kids to think about. I'm asking you, man, please turn around. What was going to be the death of me? I said. I was seething by this time, and I began to mimic her. What to grow as a person. OJ, I want to find myself. I'm tired of everyone seeing me as OJ Simpson's wife. I'm tired of living in your shadow. OJ, please. You want to know how crazy it got? I said, ignoring him. After the split, after she dumped me, she began calling to tell me about the guy she was dating. Oh, OJ, do you think they like me for me, or do they just want to get in my pants? And you know what I did? I told her to just have fun. I told her she was a great girl, not to worry, and to go with her gut. Guys will be lining up around the block for you. I said, you're gorgeous and you're smart. I know you'll pick the right guys. Is that twisted or what? I would think, what the fuck are you doing, OJ? And then I'd answer my own question. Well, the sooner she gets this finding herself shit out of her system, the sooner she'll be back. That's fucked up, man, Charlie said. Tell me about it. I glanced. Hold on. You should always. Should let the lawyers handle it. Fuck the lawyers. I'm going to get closer to where they get to the. Alright, here we go. Fuck them. I'm going to take care of this myself. We were at Bundy by then, where it meets San Vicente Boulevard. I jogged left for a few yards and made a quick right to get back on Bundy. We passed the light at Montana, and I slowed near Nicole's place. I kept going, though. I took a right on Dorothy, an immediate right into the alley behind her condo, and I pulled a few yards past it and parked on the far left near a chain-link fence. I cut the engine and looked back toward the condo. It was so quiet, it kind of spooked me. I looked at Charlie again. He seemed pretty glum. Which one's her place? He asked. I pointed it out. I don't like this, he said. Let's go the fuck back to your house. You worry too much. What if she's with someone? She better not be, I said. Not with the kids in the house. I reached into the back seat for my blue wool cap and my gloves. I kept them there for those mornings when it was nippy on the golf course. I slipped into them. What the F are you doing, man? Charlie said. You look like a burglar. Good, I said. I reached under my seat for my knife. It was a very nice knife, a limited edition, and I kept it in hand for the crazies. Los Angeles is full of crazies. Nice, huh? I said, showing it to Charlie. Check out that blade. Put that shit back, Charlie snapped. You go in there and talk to the girl if you have to, but you're not taking a goddamn knife with you. He snatched it out of my hand, pissed. You've got to learn to relax, Charlie, I said, and I opened the door, got out of the Bronco, and stole across the alley. So he didn't have the knife on him, or he did? Nicole's condo was one of 2 units, both of them long, narrow, mirror images of each other. Shit, every time I do that. There we go. They had their own entry on Bundy, and they had a back gate in the alley, but Nicole's back gate was broken. The buzzer didn't work properly, and the gate opened if you gave it a little push. I must have told her a million times, please get this goddamn gate fixed, but the woman never listened. I slipped past the gate into the narrow courtyard, and moved toward the front door, and right away I noticed lights flickering in the windows. I moved past the front door to take a closer look. There were candles burning inside, and I could hear faint music playing. Oh, wow. So they said that she set up like a bath, like a cozy, relaxing bath before Ron Goldman got there. But now that I think about it, if he saw candles lit and music playing, then he probably thought there was something nefarious going on between them. Where was I? It was obvious that Nicole was expecting company. I wonder who the fuck it was this time. I wonder if maybe Faye was coming over with some of her boy toys so they can get wild and dirty while my kids were sleeping upstairs. Just as I was beginning to get seriously steamed, the back gate squeaked open. A guy came walking through like he owned the fucking place. He saw me and froze. He was young and good-looking with a thick head of black hair. I tried to place him. I've never seen him before. I didn't even know his name. Ron Goldman. Who the fuck are you? I said. I just came by to return a pair of glasses, he replied. Really? A pair of glasses? Huh. Yes, he said. He was carrying an envelope. Judy left them at the restaurant. I'm a waiter at the Mezzaluna. So it's Judy, is it? You're on the first name basis with Judy? At that moment, the gate behind Goldman squeaked again. Charlie walked into the narrow space. He was carrying the knife. Everything cool here, he asked? I saw this guy walking through the gate and just wanted to make sure there wasn't going to be any trouble. This motherfucker wants me to believe he's here dropping off a pair of Judy's glasses, I said. I am, Goldman said, appearing increasingly nervous, and held up an envelope. Look for yourself. Then what? I said. You were going back to the restaurant? No, he said. My shift's over. I'm just leaving these here and going home. You expect me to believe that? I don't expect anything, he said. I'm telling you the truth. You're a fucking liar, I shouted. I'm not. I swear to God. She's got candles burning inside, fucking music playing, probably a nice bottle of red wine, breathing on the counter, waiting for you. Not for me, Goldman protested. F you, man. You think I'm fucking stupid or something? Suddenly, the front door opened. Nicole came outside, alerted by our raised voices. She was wearing a slinky little cocktail dress. Black, with probably not that much on underneath. Her mouth fell open in shock. She looked at me and looked at Goldman and looked at Charlie just beyond. Goldman was pretty well trapped. Charlie stood between him and the rear gate, and I was barring his way to the front. OJ, what the fuck is going on? I turned to look at Nicole. That's what I want to know, I said. Cato the dog came wandering out of the house. He saw me and wagged his tail, then saw Goldman and also wagged his tail. I looked at Goldman, steamed, and Charlie moved closer, the knife still in his hand. I think he sensed that things were about to get out of control because I was very close to losing it. I'm listening, motherfucker, I said to Golden. OJ, Nicole hollered. Leave him the fuck alone. What are you doing here anyway? I thought you were going to Chicago. Fuck you, I said. Hey, man, Goldman said. That's not necessary. Charlie piped in. Let's get the fuck out of here, OJ. I asked you a question, motherfucker. What are you doing here? You delivering drugs? Leave him alone, OJ, Nicole shouted. I hear half you assholes are dealing on the side, I said. Nicole came at me swinging. Get the fuck out of here, she said. This is my house and I can do what I want. Not in front of my kids, you can't. Fuck you. No, fuck you. I gave you everything you could ask for and you fucked it all up. She came at me like a banshee, all arms flailing, and I ducked, and she lost her balance and fell against the stoop. She fell hard on her right side. I could hear the back of her head hitting the ground, and lay there for a moment, not moving. Jesus Christ, OJ, let's get the fuck out of here, Charlie said, his voice crackling. I looked over at Goldman, and I was fuming. I guess he thought I was going to hit him because he got into his little karate stance. What the F is that? I said. You think you can take me with your karate shit? He started circling me, bobbing and weaving, and if I hadn't been so fucking angry, I would have laughed in his face. OJ, come on, it was Charlie again pleading. Nicole moaned, regaining consciousness. She stirred on the ground and opened her eyes and looked at me, but it didn't seem like anything was registering. Charlie walked over and planted himself in front of me, blocking my view. We are fucking done here, man. Let's go. I noticed the knife in Charlie's hand, and in one deft move, I removed the right glove and snatched it up. We're not going anywhere, I said, turning to face Goldman. Goldman was still circling, bobbing, and weaving, but I didn't feel like laughing anymore. You think you're tough, motherfucker? I said. I could hear Charlie behind me saying something, urging me to get the fuck out of there, and at one point he even reached for me and tried to drag me away, but I shook him off, hand hard, and moved towards Goldman. Okay, motherfucker, show me how tough you are. Then something went horribly wrong, and I know what happened, but I can't tell you exactly how. I was still standing in Nicole's courtyard, of course, but for a few moments I couldn't remember how I'd gotten there, when I arrived, or why I was there. Then it came to me very slowly, the recital, with little Sydney up on stage, dancing her little heart out, me chipping balls into my neighbor's yard, Paula angry for not answering her phone, Charlie stopping by the house to tell me some more ugly shit about Nicole's behavior. Then what? The short, quick drive from Rockingham to the Bundy condo. And now I was standing in Nicole's courtyard in the dark, listening to the loud rhythmic, accelerated beating of my own heart. I put my left hand to my heart, and my shirt felt strangely wet. I looked down at myself for several moments. I couldn't get my mind around what I was seeing. The whole front of me was covered in blood, but it didn't compute. Is this really blood, I wondered? And whose blood is it? Is it mine? Am I hurt? I was more confused than ever. What the hell had happened here? Then I remembered that Goldman guy coming through the back gate with Judas glasses and remember hollering at him. I remembered how our shouts had brought Nicole to the door. Nicole, Jesus. I looked down and saw her on the ground in front of me, curled up in a fetal position at the base of the stairs, not moving. Goldman was only a few feet away, slumped against the bars of the fence. He wasn't moving either. Both him and Nicole were lying in giant pools of blood. I have never seen so much blood in my life. Didn't seem real, and none of it computed. What the fuck happened here? Who had done this, and why, and where the fuck was I when the shit went down? It was part of my life was missing, like where some weird gap in my existence. But how could that be? I was standing right there. That was me, right? Again, I looked down at myself, at my blood-soaked clothes, and noticed a knife in my hand. The knife was covered in blood, as were my hand and my wrist of half my right forearm. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, right here. The knife was covered in blood, as were my hand and wrist and half of my right forearm. Like, there's too many details for this not to be a full fucking confession. Like, the hell? I wondered how I had gotten blood all over my knife, and again asked myself whose blood it might be, when suddenly it all made perfect sense. This was just a bad dream, a very bad dream. Any moment now I'd wake up at home in my own bed and start going about my day. Then I heard a sound behind me and turned, startled. Charlie was standing in the shadows, a few feet away, his mouth hanging open, his breathing short and ragged. He was looking beyond me at the bodies. Charlie, I called out. He didn't answer. Charlie, still nothing. I went over and stood in front of him and asked him the same question I'd asked myself. Charlie, what the fuck happened here? He looked up and met my eyes, but for several moments was as if he really didn't see me. Are you listening to me? I said. I asked you what happened here. Charlie shook his head from side to side, his mouth still hanging open, his breathing still short, ragged, and in a voice that was no more than frightened, whispered, Jesus Christ, OJ, what have you done? Me? What the hell was he talking about? I hadn't done anything. I jumped at the sound behind me, a high-pitched, almost human being. It was Cato the dog, circling Nicole's body, his big paws leaving prints in the wet blood. He lifted his snout and let out another wail. It sent chills up and down my spine. Let's get the fuck out of here, I said, hurried toward the rear gate and moved through it with Charlie close behind, but I stopped myself before I crossed into the alley. Charlie bumped into me and jumped back, startled. What? He said. I didn't answer. I was thinking about the shape I was in. I was thinking all the blood. My shirt and pants were sticking to my skin. Even my shoes were covered in blood. I turned and looked behind me, beyond Charlie, and saw a track of bloody telltale prints. I've got to get rid of these fucking clothes, I said. Without even thinking about it, I kicked off my shoes and began to strip. I took my pants and shirt off, dropped the knife and shoes into the center of the pile, and wrapped the whole thing into a tight bundle. I left my socks on, though. I don't know why, but I didn't see any blood on them, so I had no reason to... Shit. Hold on. I lost my... I have no reason to remove them. And I stood with the bundle of grass in my left hand. I realized that I left my keys and my wallet in my pants. I fell to a crouch and dug for them and noticed that my hands were shaking. Charlie stood there all the while, mumbling, Jesus Christ, OJ, Christ. He kept repeating himself like he'd lost his goddamn mind or something. Will you shut the fuck up? I snapped. I found my keys and my wallet and rewrapped the bundle. Then I stood hurried across the dark alley. Charlie followed, still mumbling. I got behind the wheel, and Charlie climbed into the passenger seat. Jesus Christ, OJ said, Jesus Christ. Will you shut the fuck up? Charlie recoiled and startled and shut up. I started the Bronco and pulled out, tires squealing, and raced through the curved alley toward Montana Avenue. Oh, so this is when he was driving all crazy and almost hit that chick. When I reached the end of the alley, I made a left on Montana and immediate right at the corner onto Gretna Green. St. Vincent was a block away, and I made a left there and took it all the way to Bristol. I think Bristol was where he almost hit that woman, Jill Shively or whatever. Then hung a right on Sunset and made a left there towards home. I glanced at Charlie. He was hunched over his like, there's just so many details. Like, there's no way this guy just made up all these details. Like, if I did it, this is what would have happened. Like, how Charlie was hunched over and how he took off all his clothes. I mean, obviously, this is a straight up confession. Charlie sat up. His cheeks were wet with tears. He shook his head from side to side and shrugged. I thought back to that horrific scene at the courtyard and all the blood. I had never seen so much blood in my life. It didn't seem possible. It didn't seem real. And I guess this whole time he wasn't even thinking about his kids being in the friggin' house by themselves. Oh my God.
That anger was, I was muted. I've been talking this whole time and I'm like, hey, hello. His anger was so, I think he's one of those people that their anger gets so to them, they black out when they're that angry and they don't
that
realize
happened to
what
me
they're
before.
doing. I'm sorry?
That happened to me before. Some girl attacked me and she literally attacked me and I blacked out.
You were so that angry?
Oh yeah. Well, she ripped me out of my house by my hair. She was
Jesus.
messed up. She was messed up on something and knocked on my door. And I've maybe seen her. She was dating the neighbor, and I maybe seen her like 2 or 3 times, and no idea why she decided to come to my house. But she was all messed up, and she came to my house and ripped me out by my hair, and I beat the crap out of her. Well, I didn't really have any choice. You know what I mean? Like, she was attacking me. And I totally blacked out, and had somebody not taken it from me, I would have hit her with like a curtain rod or something I found in the yard.
Wow. You know what? Something just asked, she said, don't most believe now that the oldest son was with him that night? I've never thought about that. I've never given that thought. I always thought it was Kyle.
How old was his oldest son?
He was in his 20s. They had 3 children. They had 2 girls and a boy.
Let's look up his name real quick.
And one of the daughters was drowned when she was 2 years old.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, she was a baby.
Is that Jason right there?
Yeah, that's his oldest son, but I don't know what the younger children. I heard that the son is living in Florida and doing really well, selling real estate.
To this day, investigators have reason to believe Jason is the real killer. William Deary, Dallas-based private investigator, claimed he had hard evidence that exonerates the Football Hall of Famer who was acquitted of killing his ex-wife, Nicole, and her friend Ron Goldman. I have evidence nobody has seen or looked at, he said, of alternative theories in his 2012 book, OJ is Innocent and I Can Prove It. He claims that evidence pointed towards Jason. Jason, who was 24 at the time of the murders, allegedly killed Nicole and Ron in a fit of rage, and OJ came to the scene and helped his son cover up the crime. According to Business Insider, William claimed in his book that Jason had allegedly been diagnosed with intermittent rage disorder and was prescribed the drug Depakote to control it. His book made several claims that have never been verified, and suggested that Jason abused alcohol and cocaine and had a history of attempted suicide and nearly killed a former girlfriend with a knife. At the time of the killings, Jason was on probation for assault with a deadly weapon. He attacked a former employee with a knife.
Really? Wow.
It's weird.
I didn't know that.
But like, why would he be
born,
at
he was born in 1970, so he's what, 40?
He was 24 at the time.
I have no idea. I would know why he would involve his children.
Yeah, but like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, why would his son from his first marriage even be at Nicole's house? Like, that's just weird to me. Like that he would even be there without OJ.
Unless he picked him up. They were there at OJ's and they went together.
Yeah, maybe. And he just like snapped, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
He
I
still
thought
didn't
she got
answer.
along pretty well with his children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep, having a cookie. So wait, he still didn't answer, but what the hell? This wasn't really happening. That hadn't been me back there. I imagined the whole thing. I was imagining it then. In actual fact, I was home in bed asleep having one of those crazy crime and passion dreams, but I was going to wake up any second now. That was it. Only I didn't wake up. We were still on Sunset, and I passed the light on Burlingame and made a sharp right on the Rockingham, tearing up the winding hill toward the house. As I approached the gate, I saw a limo moving toward... Oh. I lost Gladys again. What happened? Oh. There we go. You there? Why can't I hear her? Not muted. You there, Gladys? I don't know why it's not working. I don't know why I can't hear you for some reason. Oh, where was I? Oh, he saw the limo approach the gate from Ashford Street and remembered that I had a flight to catch. I drove past my house and past the moving limo, and then in the side view mirror, I saw its taillights flare as I pulled to a stop in front of my gate. The driver had probably been waiting on Ashford out of sight. And I'd wonder, oh, so he... That's okay. Try going out and coming back in. StreamYard used to be like that when I used my phone on my computer. It's not like that. Apparently, he drove past the limo while the guy was at the door, I guess. I wondered if he already called the house. No idea what time it was. I looked down at the Broncos clock, and it was 10:37. Fuck, I was supposed to be in that limo 8 minutes ago. I pulled into Ashford and kept hanging right on Bristol, and I pulled into the shadows beyond the home of Eric Watts. See, this is detailed as shit. Behind the home of Eric Watts. Like, he even got down to, like, where he pulled up. There was another neighbor in Rockingham who was closer, but his property ran parallel to mine, and I couldn't get inside without running the risk of being spotted by the limo driver. I was going to have to steal... So wait, he was naked by this time too? Like, trying to sneak in his house? Butt-ass naked? I was going to have to steal onto my property through the Watts place. I knew just how to do it. I looked down at my lap at the bloody bundle and over at Charlie and said, "You're going to have to help me out here, man." Charlie turned to look at me. His mouth was hanging open a bit and was breathing kind of funny, and he couldn't stop shaking his head. It looked like he was slipping into shock or something. "Charlie, are you listening to me?" He stopped shaking his head for a moment and not at once. I began to tell him what I needed from him. "I gotta get in my house," he said. "You're gonna have to wait here until I'm in the limo. You understand? When the limo's gone." Charlie looked away into the darkness beyond his own window. Clearly not listening to me, I reached over and slammed his left shoulder into his seat hard, and he whipped his face around, more frightened than ever. "I need you to fucking listen to me, man," I shouted. "Are you fucking listening to me?" Charlie nodded. He looked scared to death. "Say it. Tell me you're listening." "I'm listening," he mumbled. "Let me spell it out for you. You better fucking pay attention." "Are you paying attention?" Charlie nodded. "Say it, goddammit." "I'm paying attention," Charlie said. "I'm going to sneak back into my house. I'm going to take a shower and get dressed and grab my bags. I'm going to get in that goddamn limo we just passed. Did you see the limo?" "No," Charlie said. "Well, there's a fucking limo parked in front of my Rockingham gate, and I'm supposed to be in it. I'm on my way to the airport." "A limo," Charlie repeated, his mouth still hanging open, and I wasn't sure any of this really was registering, but I didn't have a choice. "Once I'm in that limo and it's gone, I need you to park the fucking Bronco in the driveway. Then get into your car and take the fuck off. Do you understand?" Charlie nodded. "This here is the clicker. It'll open the gate. You drop the key in the mailbox, but run out before the gate closes, okay?" he said. I took the key out of the ignition and removed all the keys except the one for the Bronco. Then I set the bundle in his lap. I need you to take this and get rid of it, I said. Charlie looked down at the bundle, afraid to touch it. I don't give a fuck how you get rid of it, but make sure it disappears. You hear? It needs to disappear forever. And that's how it ends.
Oh, I just clicked those two in the face.
You think maybe he, I don't know what ends of philopathy, but I was just going to say, I wonder if he got too many concussions and it caused him, like a lot of football players get really angry and abusive because they get a lot of concussions and they really like act enraged. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna look it up and see if we're talking about the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. It probably happens from concussions from getting hit during football so much. Is that what they call those multiple head injuries or the condition anyway? Yeah, where like it literally alters your brain. You know who had it? What's the fucking the guy on the Patriots who killed himself? There's a Netflix documentary on him. Why can't I? Yeah, and Chris Benoit. Yeah. But what's the guy's name who was on the Patriots? Hold on. I'll tell you right now. Let me look it up. He was cute too. Patriots player. No. Aaron Hernandez. That's it. Yep. That's what I was thinking too. Aaron Hernandez. Did you see that? There was another guy who like beat the crap out of his girlfriend. I think he was on the Jets. I could be wrong though. And he like threw her across the room. They had video of it, and they had a baby, and he like slammed her. And it was scary. Like the video was chilling. And these football players are huge compared to like their tiny girlfriends. You know what I mean? Like they have literally no chance. Let me see. I think he was on the Jets. I could find out his name. Zach Stacy. That's who I'm talking about. He was a Jets running back. Dude, I don't even want to show the video because it's like, look it up, but I don't want to like, it's bad. He like throws this chick like across the fucking room into the TV, then body slams her into like the baby. You know, there's like little jumpy things that the baby sits in with the table and they can hit all those stuff. And it was horrible. Like literally just tossed her like a rag doll in the videos. And I think a lot of like, look at what's his name? The guy. Oh my god, why can't I think? AB took his shirt off and like ran out of the thing. He's crazy too. Yeah, did you see it when I'm talking about Gladys? Zach Stacy? Oh my god. See, I'm a big football. I like football, so I'm always reading the football stories. And man, that one really, really freaked me out. Let me see if I had anything else to look up. You know what? I sent them to myself. Hold on. I don't know if I had any more videos. I don't think I did, but let me just check before I call it.
You know how the reload animation works? Make you speed it up.
Or you know what? Hold on, let me check that website before I closed it out. No. Come on. It's so hard to trials I always start looking at something and then I see something else while I'm looking at something and have like major ADD. Okay. He fell off a moving truck trying to get to her, like beat her up, and he died as a result. What's OJ's statement to the LAPD? He said the last time he saw her, they were leaving the dance recital. Okay, I'm not going to read all that, but they have excerpts from the trial, which is if you guys want to check this out, I would have to do a whole nother show if we wanted to go over this. But if you guys want to, let me know, because we can go over all of it. But they have Sharon Gilbert, the 911 dispatcher, Ron Shipp, he was the friend of OJ. Carl Colby was the neighbor who saw OJ. Denise Brown was Nicole's sister. She talked about OJ's abuse. Pablo Gladys taught me how to say it. Now I don't remember, so I'm just not going to say it. Robert Riss, the first LAPD officer at the scene. Mark Furman, the detective who found the glove. Philip Venator, detective in charge of Rockingham. Cato, the limo driver. LAX Skycap, who saw OJ near a rubbish bin. The criminologist who gathered evidence. The shoe expert. Bloomingdale Shoe Department manager. These are all the defense witnesses. The neighborhood walker, Denise Pilnack, neighbor, Michael Norris, airport employee, Mark Partridge, airline passenger, Robert Huzanga, OJ doctor, Henry Lee, a forensic expert, Laura Hart McKinney, screenwriter who taped Furman's conversation. So the Furman tapes Chris Henry in 2009. I'll check that out. That would be pretty good. The Chris Benoit thing, like to go over that. That would be a cool story to go over. I loved wrestling when I was younger. I like DX, like X-Pac and Triple H. They were my favorite. I even love the theme song still. I could jam out to that any day. So the Furman tapes, she taped him saying the N-word a couple times. Yeah, the Chris Benoit case. Should I do that? That'd be cool. I've watched a couple documentaries on that. And then I watched another one where they kept saying that he was like really paranoid that people were going to kill him. Like before that, and they were thinking that maybe someone had like killed his whole family and him and made it look to be a murder-suicide. But supposedly there was like evidence that just didn't add up. That I forget what it was. It's been so long since I've seen it, but it was super interesting. The one I watched. Opinion polls. What's this? The images. Oh, here we go. Some images. The glove that didn't fit. What's this? Oh, that's at the house. Trial scenes. Oh, there's all the blood stains in the car. Characters. Did Faye Resnick testify? Goldman, OJ, the judge, Mark Furman, Cato. You know who he looks like? What's that guy's name? I'm trying to think of what movie. Christian Slater. He looks like Christian. True Romance. I love that movie. Doesn't he look like Christian Slater in this picture? Hold up. Wait. Let me zoom in. Tell me he does not look like Christian Slater here. Yeah, I'm not against continuing the OJ case. We could go dive into the trial a little bit if we want to. Dude, he looks like Christian Slater in that picture. I can't get over it. Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro. Oh, and that's what I wanted to show you guys. I think I sent you guys the interview in chat though between Robert Shapiro and Kardashian. They hated each other, and he literally, dude, Robert Shapiro tried to get OJ to take a plea deal and say that Robert Kardashian was with him that night. So that makes me even a little bit like skeptical. Why would Robert Shapiro tell him to say that Kardashian's an accessory to murder? Robert Shapiro? I don't know. Look at Amy coming out with all these random facts tonight. Hold up. Robert Shapiro. LegalZoom. How do I know? He's the co-founder of LegalZoom. I can play it real quick. You want me to play it? The one with Kardashian? I could speed it up. We can try and do it quick. Hold on. It's got to be in my history. I can do that and then close it up for the night, but here's my history. Don't be laughing at my history, guys. Let's see, moments. This is the lady that sold her story. It's OJ's ex-girlfriend. This is my favorite bird, Buster. I watch him. He's adorable. My son's stuff. Here we go.
Yeah, there's a bunch of me right now.
Wait. All right, good. This isn't like CNN or something. Let me speed it up. No, what am I doing? Playback speed. 1.5.
OJ Simpson telephoned me last night, and later you'll hear how he feels. What was your role? What were you?
If anything, I was the liaison between the attorneys and OJ. Whenever it was bad news, I had to tell OJ the bad news.
Thankless job.
Thankless job, very much so.
Did you make any money from all those weeks and months?
No, I got paid a little bit in the beginning.
Who made this money?
Robert Shapiro.
How much did he make?
Our deal with him was $1 million to $100,000 a month.
Has he gotten paid?
Not all of it.
Mr. Kardashian, you sat in that courtroom as a lawyer. Now you're talking about things that you discussed with OJ Simpson. Doesn't this violate your attorney-client privilege?
Barbara, I'm on the witness list for the civil trial, and I think that's something that the court will have to determine at that time.
Are you sharing any of the profits, if there are any, from this book?
I don't like discussing my financial situation.
You saw OJ Simpson almost every single day. He wanted someone with him all the time. At first it was you, and after a while, enough already. And so what did you do?
I had an assistant of mine, Nicole Pulvers, who was an attorney, and we had her sit with him all day, every day.
She was paid to go and keep him company.
Yes.
That's rather spoiled of Mr. Simpson, is it not?
Very.
In the book, even before the trial started, you say that Robert Shapiro said to you, "This is how I think the murders may have been committed." What did he say?
Mr. Shapiro told me one day that he thinks OJ went over there and he was just going to poke her tires, and she caught him, and that's when the murders took place. And I was astounded. Here is our lead trial attorney giving me this theory of guilt. And I said, I don't want to hear theories of guilt.
Do you think Robert Shapiro thought that OJ Simpson was guilty?
Yes.
Again and again, you say that Robert Shapiro wanted Simpson to plea bargain.
I overheard Mr. Shapiro at one point in the courtroom during a break say to Mr. Simpson, we should plea bargain. You would get 12 years or whatever it was, and Robert Kardashian would get so much time as an accessory. Well, Barbara, my jaw dropped.
Why would you have been an accessory for hiding?
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I was astounded and I was shaking. I was so mad, so upset. Where would this even come from? He knew that I knew nothing about any of this.
What did Simpson say when his attorney says, maybe we should plea bargain?
He started yelling at Bob and saying, what are you talking about? I don't ever want to hear this again. I didn't do this.
Robert Shapiro denies this. He says that he may just have mentioned plea bargaining with the lawyers as a kind of what if, where you examine every scenario. Which one is telling the truth, you or Shapiro?
I am.
This is why you wanted Shapiro off the case and wanted Johnny Cochran?
We didn't need our lead attorney having concerns about guilt. Also, Johnny Cochran related better to Mr. Simpson.
And Cochran also knew how to win over the predominantly African-American jury. Lawrence Schiller reveals for the first time that before the jury was brought to see Simpson's Rockingham estate, Cochran, Kardashian, and the rest of the defense team gave Simpson's house a complete makeover.
They went in and they remade that house. As one source told me who was there, the white women came off the walls and the black women came marching in.
You and other members of the defense team rearranged pictures, took away pictures of white women. Paula Barbieri's nude picture was next to OJ's bed, put in pictures of OJ with his mother, put a sympathetic poster of a little black girl supposedly starting school that had been in Cochran's office.
That was pretty crazy that they changed
Don't you feel that you were manipulating the jury?
I did feel
the pictures in his house.
Actually, the pictures had been quite glamorous and mostly white.
Previously, yes.
Previously.
Yes.
Wow. One of the things you write that most disturbed some of the members of the defense team was the DNA evidence, the blood. This really raised up.
It affected everybody.
Which ones were certain that OJ Simpson was innocent? Which ones had doubts and even thought he was guilty?
I think that many of them, maybe the majority of them, had doubts, but they were professionals.
Did Johnny Cochran have doubts about OJ Simpson's innocence?
He had doubts about OJ Simpson's stories about the cuts on his fingers. He had doubts about the fact that Simpson could remember almost everything in his life, but couldn't explain when the cuts took place or how.
But the biggest problem was the blood. Simpson's blood at the crime scene. Nicole's blood found on Simpson's sock in his bedroom. Most damaging, Ron Goldman's blood in the Bronco.
Definitely the most damaging evidence.
At Buckingham. How did the DNA, the blood evidence, affect you? Ron Goldman's blood in Simpson's Bronco, Simpson's blood in so many places?
Barbara, that was the most devastating part of the whole trial for me. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm so conflicted because of that blood evidence. It's very difficult for me.
You had many discussions with A.C. Cowlings about the blood. You and Cowlings, two of Simpson's best friends. And he also expressed that.
You think Robert Kardashian could have been with him that night?
Two men who have known
Why would
OJ.
Shapiro
I, 25 years
tell
and AC
him?
grew up with him. Knows him much better than I. And we would talk about this blood evidence. We
That
would
to say
go
he was
all
an
over the board. We would
accessory to
go from
murder,
innocence,
that
he
was
couldn't have done it,
weird.
and list all the reasons why. Then we would say, well, but how did the blood get here? Maybe he did. And it was so heart-wrenching, Barbara.
To believe that O.J. Simpson is truly innocent, you have to believe that the LAPD conspired to frame him. Do you believe that?
Obviously, I don't believe the entire LAPD conspired. I believe a few individuals did some things that were not normal.
But not a whole conspiracy.
No, it's impossible.
It has been reported that Simpson knew the night before the jury came in with the verdict that he was going to be acquitted. True?
Absolutely false.
So when O.J. Simpson walked into that courtrooom, he did not know whether or not he was going to be found guilty.
He had no idea, and neither did I.
What was your reaction to the verdict?
That morning, I got to the court a little early. OJ was in his cell, and I prayed with him at that time. And I prayed to God, not that this man be set free, but that thy will be done. Only you know, God, what has happened here.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A.
Mr. Kardashian, do you now doubt O.J. Simpson's innocence?
Barbara, if I were on the jury today on the civil trial, because of the reasonable doubt, I would vote not guilty.
That is not what I
He looked really upset, honestly, when they read the verdict. Like, he looked bothered.
I have doubts.
Why?
The blood evidence is the biggest thorn in my side. That causes me the greatest problems. So I struggle with the blood evidence.
What is your relationship today with O.J. Simpson?
The relationship is not the same as it once was, nor will it ever be.
Why not?
Because I have doubts.
You will testify at Simpson's civil trial.
If called, I am on the witness list.
Will you say you had doubts?
If called, I'll tell the truth, Barbara.
If you had to do it all over again, would you have stood by your friend?
To endure death threats on my life, to endure death threats on my children's lives, to lose a fiance, to suffer in my personal business.
Because she was upset about this
Because the trial just took its toll. To have all these things happen to me, I would honestly say no, I would not get involved in that.
How do people treat you today?
Not good. People, I guess, think I had something to do with this.
Did Simpson ever say to you, Robert, I appreciate this, I know what you did?
No.
Would O.J. Simpson have done this for you?
No, I don't believe he would, Barbara.
You are a very religious man. Will O.J. Simpson go to heaven?
I'm not God, Barbara.
Now, I know O.J. Simpson called you yesterday, and one can guess why, but tell what he said to you in that phone call.
Well, what happened was that we released the transcript, and so he knew in great part what was going to be in the interview, and I made notes of the conversation. He said that there were many inaccuracies in the interview, including the allegation that a number of pictures in the house were changed for the jury, or that the lawyer, Nicole Pulvis, was there just to babysit him. He said there are knowledgeable people willing to refute these allegations, but that he can't because he's not allowed to discuss his case since there's a civil case pending. Simpson also said that Robert Shapiro never talked to him personally about a plea bargain. And as for Robert Kardashian, Mr. Simpson says that he thanked him profusely, many times, including once in front of 100 people, saying that his friend, he could never repay his kindness. He did say, however, that he and Robert Kardashian will remain friends. And here I quote, he said, I understand why he wrote this book. He said, no one has written a book yet about the case, and donated the money to charity.
Well, is Chris Kardashian going to make money off of this book?
Lauren Schiller Angela told me that he paid Robert Kardashian for the interview, as he paid many others. But I don't think that Robert Kardashian did this to make the money. I think he really was troubled, and I think we'll have to see whether the relationship remains, although that's not our concern.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he felt really guilty about it. Like, he wrote a book, and then he donated all the proceeds to charity. It was almost like he was like really bothered by how everything went down. I wonder, do you know if he had cancer by that time, Gladys? Maybe he was starting to like when you start thinking about like everything you've done in your life and if you've been a good person or not, like maybe it was like one of those things where he was like having one of those moments and felt like he needed to like be honest about it. Oh, he didn't have it then. I'm kind of curious about his book. Like, I feel like if I wanted to read anyone's book, I'd want to read his and like what his thoughts about it. All right, guys. Well, I've been on for like 3 hours, but maybe we can do the Crispin Wow one next time, or go a little further into the OJ case, or I'm gonna try and look over a couple books and see if I find anything interesting. Yeah, I know. I bet it is a good book too, because it's like it's kind of from both sides. You know what I mean? Like, he was a really good friend of OJ's. Like, personally, like they hung out with Nicole and him a lot, but also from like him as a lawyer, and he got cancer in 2003. So I wonder when he. Let me see what it's called. Robert Kardashian book. Wait, what? Oh no, that's not it. What's his book called? Focus on OJ Simpson murder case? Okay, so no, that just says there. What the heck is his book called? Hold on. How I Helped OJ Get Away with Murder. The shocking inside story of violence, loyalty, regret, and remorse. This is the book. How I Helped OJ Get... Oh, no. Well, it says... Mike Gilbert. No, this said it was his book. Hold on. Never mind, that's not his book. God damn it. Hold on. It said, did Robert Kardashian write a book about OJ? And then it said that. Trial evidence book. Hold on. That wasn't the right one. Oh, I didn't even think about it. Kim Kardashian, she is becoming a lawyer, and I didn't even think about it that like her dad was a lawyer, and she said she read the law with 2 mentor lawyers and she read her here we go. She often rummaged through her late father, attorney Robert Kardashian's legal files when he served on the defense team. Someone find me what that damn book is called. All right, well, I think Sarah and Mel went to sleep already. They couldn't hang. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Actually, Mel's in the same time zone as me, so it's kind of late here. It's 1:13, but it's early where you are, Christina. I'm glad you guys liked it. Let me know if you guys want. Let me know if you want me to cover certain cases. And if you haven't subbed, please sub. And thank you so much for supporting me and watching my show. And hopefully you guys come back. Gladys, just message me in chat if you find it. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you.